Good morning. It's now about 4 after 9. Today's date is August 2019, I'm sorry. Can we please begin with a roll call?
Kai Stanton, board member.
Brian Baltazar, board member.
Gwen Bramo, board member.
Sophia Long, Deputy Attorney General, Board Counsel.
Debbie Ritchie, Secretary Treasurer.
Is there anyone up north, or we want to start with staff here?
Gary Landry, Executive Director.
Adam Higginbotham, Deputy Executive Director.
Andrew Helms, Chief Financial Officer.
Leah Easter, Compliance Coordinator. We also have Inspector Kara Ishitani in Las Vegas and Inspector Rodney Moore in Carson.
Maggie Adams, Compliance Specialist.
That's it? Can we have our Deputy Attorney General, please?
My apologies. Good morning, Madam President, board members. Ashish Bala, Deputy Attorney General, on behalf of the Executive Director.
Thank you. Is that everyone? Okay, can we now stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Thank you. I'm going to now read the mission statement. The mission of the Nevada Board of Cosmetology is to protect the public health, safety, and welfare of those that obtain cosmetology-related services through the delivery of quality testing, licensing, inspection, and education services that focus on consumer protection. At this time, the board will now entertain any comments that is on the agenda. If it's not on the agenda, we cannot rule on it. But if there's anyone that would like to come before the board to speak, you have 3 minutes. Is there anybody up north that want to entertain public comment? Okay, thank you. So now I'm asking the board to approve the minutes from the previous meeting. I think that meeting was April's meeting. Did any board member have any comment on those minutes? No comments? Can I get a vote, please? A motion.
Debbie Ritchie, I'll grant a motion to approve the minutes.
Can I have a second, please?
This is Kai Stanton. I second that motion.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, now I think I'm going to turn it over to our Deputy Attorney General, right?
Thank you, Madam President. Ashish Bala on behalf of the Executive Director. Now we have agenda item F1, Bella Maj, XOXO, and Bonnie Bledsoe. And we do have a settlement in this matter for the board's review. So if the board would take a minute to review the settlement, and then I'm available for any questions that the board may have prior to a vote for approval of the settlement.
I think we are reviewing. Is there any questions at this time, if the board members have questions? No questions?
If there are no questions, Madam President, then I would ask for a motion to approve the settlement agreement.
Can we get a motion to approve the settlement agreement that was presented by our Deputy Attorney General, Mr. Bala?
Debbie Ritchie. I vote to approve the agreement.
Can I get a second?
This is Kai Stanton. I second that motion.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you, board members. At this time, I'd like to move to agenda item F2. That would be the State of Nevada Board of Cosmetology versus Pamper Me Salon, license number S-18115, and Do Nails LLC. Is anybody representing either of the respondents present? Madam President, it does not appear that anyone representing either of the respondents is present, and as such, I would like to ask that we approve service of process and then move for default in this matter.
Can I get a...
I'll be calling Ms. Easter to show service of process first.
Okay.
Thank you. Could we have Ms. Easter sworn in, please? Good morning. Can you please tell us your name?
Leah Easter,
And can you please state your position?
Compliance Coordinator.
And how long have you been in this position?
Just over 2 years.
And can you describe your roles and responsibilities in brief, please?
Sure. I oversee the inspection department, board meeting organization, send the complaints and notices of hearing.
And did you send the notice and complaint and 233B letter in this matter?
Yeah, we sent a notice and complaint. If our internet would load, I'd give you an exact date. It was sent to Pamper Me, care of Nails LLC, and then when the meeting was rescheduled, we resent the notice and complaint to them.
Perfect. And did you receive a response in this matter?
We did not.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam President, board members. Based off the testimony provided by Ms. Easter regarding the service of process, I would ask for a motion that service was proper in this matter.
I would like to have a motion that service was properly rendered to Pamper Me Salon. Can I get a motion to approve the dismissal? Is it the service? The service is first. That was properly served. That Pamper Me Salon was properly served. Can I get a motion, please?
This is Guy Stanton. I'd like to make a motion that Pamper Me has been properly served on proper notifications given.
Can I get a second, please?
Brian Baltazar, I second that motion.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you, board members. At this time, I would like to ask for a vote on the findings of fact and violation, and we can read the findings of fact and violations into the record if you choose, or the board can review the findings of fact and violations as alleged in the complaint, and then we can move to a vote.
Was there any questions for Mr. Bala about this agenda item from any board members?
Specifically on the findings of fact and violation.
On the facts and findings violation. There appears to be no questions. So I would like the board member to make a motion, right?
Correct.
I would like to get a motion on the facts and findings
And violation.
and violation to be proven true. Can I get a motion, please?
This is Kai Stanton. I would like to make a motion that all facts and findings have been properly founded, and we would like to have those approved.
Can I get a second?
Sorry, just to clarify the motion, that the facts and findings support the violation, so that the respondent is in violation based on the statement of facts. So they've been proven.
Would you like me to
Maybe just restate it again.
This is Kai Stanton. I'd like to make a motion that all facts and findings properly supported.
The violation?
The violations, I'm sorry. All facts and findings properly support the violations. Okay, thank you.
Can I get a second?
Debbie Ritchie, I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you, board members. At this time, I would like to move to the recommended discipline. And in this matter, the recommended discipline is an administrative fine for administrative fine of $2,000 per violation for a total fine of $4,000, and that the costs of this proceeding are also imposed, and that the board take any further action as is necessary. And in this matter, the total costs are, just have a minute. $308.72.
Mr. Bala, if you have your invoice, can you provide it to the board, please? So as the board reviews the costs for the Attorney General's office, if the board decides that they want to pass off the cost to the respondent, the board needs to make a determination that the costs were actually incurred necessary for this hearing. So you need to make a separate finding of that first before you can impose the cost to the respondent.
I would like to have the board to make a motion that the findings for the Attorney General's office is appropriate for this case. Can I get a motion, please?
I'm sorry, the motion has to include specific language that it was that the costs were actually incurred, necessary, and reasonable.
I would like to have a motion from the board that the cost associated was necessary and reasonable and actually occurred. Can I get a motion, please?
Debbie Ritchie, costs were actual and that occurred in this case. Necessary. As necessary.
Can I get a second?
This is Kai Stanton. I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you, board members. And based on my previous statement, if the board would now like to consider the recommended discipline and then take a vote on either imposing the recommended discipline or imposing other terms.
After Mr. Bala's testimony, board, I would like to get a motion that the cost that's associated.
I think recommended discipline at this time.
Okay, but the recommended discipline is the cost associated?
Includes the cost associated.
Okay. The recommended discipline include the cost associated is reasonable?
Actually, so we're clear, Mr. Bala, could you restate your recommended discipline?
Yes. Again, resaying the recommended discipline from the executive director is $2,000 per violation for a total administrative fine of $4,000 and a second all costs for the proceeding, which are $308.72, I believe.
I would like to have the board to approve the recommended discipline associated with the cost. Do I state the cost that Mr. Bala has just presented to the board? Can I get a motion, please?
So what he's recommending is the discipline to be imposed on the respondent, and it also includes the administrative fine plus the costs.
So I'd like to make a motion, Debbie Ritchie, to approve a total of $6,308.72. $4,308.72, which includes the $4,000 for the fine and the $308.72 for the fees associated with the state.
Yes, can I?
To be due within 30 days or 90 days?
Due in 30 days
The effective date of the order.
from the effective day
Of the order.
of the order.
Can I get a second?
This is Kai Stanton. I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you, board members.
Excuse me, Mr. Bala. I wanted to bring a board member in so she can introduce herself.
Of course.
Thank you.
Walk of shame. My apologies. Taylor Trail McCormick, board member.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam President. Welcome, member. At this time, I'd like to move to item F3 on the agenda, which is the Nevada State Board of Cosmetology versus TL Nails, license number S-18395, and Tran Nok Quinn Win. Madam President, it does not appear that anyone is here on behalf of either one of the respondents. My apologies. And as such, I would like to move forward with approving service of process.
Yes, can Miss Leah Easter?
Thank you. Can you please state your name for the record?
Leah Easter,
And can you please tell us what your position is?
compliance coordinator.
And can you please briefly tell us about your responsibilities?
I send out the notices and complaints.
Thank you. And did you send out the notice and complaint in this matter?
I did twice. We sent the first one on or around May 14th of 19 for the April meeting. When the meeting got pushed to August, we resent the complaint and notice on July 17th of 2019.
And when you sent this second notice and complaint, did you receive a response?
We did not.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Madam President, board members, based on the following testimony from Ms. Easter, I would like to move or ask for a motion that service of process was proper in this matter.
I would like to have a motion that service and process in this manner was proper. Can I get a motion?
This is Kai Stanton. I would like to make a motion that all services were proper in this manner.
Can I get a second?
Debbie Ritchie, I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you, board members. At this time, I would like the board to consider the findings of the alleged facts and violations in the complaint. If you would like, I can read them into the record, or the board can consider them, and I'm available for questions if there are any.
I just think at this time, any board members have any questions for Mr. Bala? No question.
Thank you, Madam President. If there are no questions, then I would like to ask for a motion that the alleged facts support the violations and are proven by default in this matter.
I would like to have a motion that all facts was proven in this manner and this is considered as a default. Can I get a motion?
Debbie Ritchie, I'd like to make a motion for the default in this matter. And that the facts support the violation.
Can I get a second?
This is Kai Stanton. I second that motion.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you, board members. Now, I would like to just present the costs briefly, and then the board can review the costs and make a motion on the costs in this matter before proceeding to the full recommended discipline. The full costs in this matter are $463.08. And if there are no questions on the costs, then I would ask for a motion that these costs are reasonable, actual, and necessarily incurred.
Is there any questions associated with the cost from any board members? So I would like to make a motion that the cost associated is actual and reasonable and necessary. Can I get a motion, please?
Brian Baltazar, I motion to, I motion that the costs were actual and reasonable and necessary.
Can I get a second, please?
Debbie Ritchie, I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you, board members. Including the administrative costs, I would now like to move to the recommended discipline. In this matter, we have 2 violations, and so the recommended discipline is $2,000 per violation for a total administrative fine of $4,000. Additionally, the $463.08.
Any questions from Mr. Bala? Well, I would like to make a motion that the recommended discipline for the cost associated for the violation is reasonable and necessary. Can I get a motion, please?
Sorry, Madam President, we already did that motion, so we're going to
Approve discipline.
approve discipline.
Before we make the motion on the cost associated?
We already did that.
Okay, but I thought that this was okay, I got you.
So the motion now is concerning discipline. So whether you want to adopt the recommendation from the Attorney General regarding
Fines plus costs.
right.
Sorry.
So I would like to have a motion for the fines and cost of this violation associated. Board members, please.
Debbie Ritchie, I'd like to make a motion to accept the Attorney General's fines of $463.08 and the discipline as described.
Can I get a second, please?
This is Kai Stanton. I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you, board members. That concludes the disciplinary portion of the agenda.
Thank you. So we're now board members in the section for partitions, and I will call out the names because those that are not here, we're just going to go ahead and ask for dismissal. The first petition, you can just maybe raise your hand. Is that appropriate? Is it Nigel Win? Nguyen Win? The second person, is it Ba Tran Win? Okay, just raise your hand. I'm just calling out right now. Okay. Okay, just have a seat for me, okay? Thank you.
Can you have a seat in the front row, please? Not at the podium.
The second person is Tai Tran. Okay, just stay there. Number 4 is Tai Du Hong. Hoang. No? Can you hear me up north? Can you hear me up? Can you hear us? Okay. I just wanted to make sure we didn't pass anybody up. You want me to say it again? Rodney, can you hear? Okay. Should I say that name again? Okay. The next one is Bafan. Last name Phan. The next person is Lee. Last name Ly. The next person is Holly Pham. Did I pronounce that right? Okay. The next one is Hing Wing. Last name Nguyen. The next one is Spencer Lawson. Spencer Lawson. The next person is Chalina Wright. Okay. The next person is Samantha Kelshik. The next person is Diana Acevedo. Last name is spelled Acevedo. The next person, the salon, is Nail Republic. No Nail Republic. The next person is the nail bar, Rose Nail Bar. Trong Wing. No nail bar, Rose Nail Bar. Candace Lake. Is there a Candace Lang? The next person, is it Nevada Nails and Spa? Okay. The next person, is it Ching Ting Kong Ting Tan? Okay. Can you pronounce it? Okay. The next person is it Helen Vong? Kimberly Hutchison? Skin Fusion? Tanya Fanning? No Tanya? Is it Tanya or Tonya? No Tanya Fanning? Rose Crew? Alana LaRubio? Barbara Harcum? Susan Pyle? Naturella Nails? Julia Nunley? Julie Nunley. No Julie Nunley? Amani Moore? Magdalena? I don't want to pronounce that last name. I'll spell it CIEPLOWICZ. No? Susan Murphy? Okay. Do we have anyone in the audience for a petition that was not called? Thank you. Okay, board members. We have a number of cases that did not show up. So I wanted to read out the numbers of those that didn't show up and have us to make a motion to dismiss. Case number 1, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 19, 20, 21, 22, 24, 20, 25, 26, 28. I would like to have a motion, please.
Debbie Ritchie, I'd like to make a motion to dismiss 1, 4.
Wait, we're actually, there's, I'm so sorry. We're actually, there's one in there that, and I could be wrong. Is that-
Number 11.
Number 11. Samantha. Samantha is here? Okay. We need to take that one from your.
Take that out.
Okay. Thank you, board members. Were there any other that we might have missed? Good, thank you.
No, I need to make a motion. I didn't read them all.
I think I should read them again one
No,
more
that's
time.
okay. I have them. I'll make a motion now and we can move forward.
Okay.
Okay? Debbie Ritchie, I'd like to make a motion to dismiss 1, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 12, 13, 14, 15, 19, 20, 21, 22, 24, 25, 26, and 28.
Tia Latrell McCormick, I second that motion.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. So the next person to appear, is it BioWing? That's what I said, BioWing. Thank you. Can we have two people that need to be sworn in. Our deputy director needs to be sworn in.
I do.
Yes, we have a person up north that needs to be sworn in. Can you raise your right hand, please?
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Say yes or no.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. You can have a seat, please.
Thank you.
Can we hear from our deputy attorney, deputy director, please?
Good morning, Madam President. Adam Higginbotham, Deputy Executive Director. On this application, as you can see, any of the applicants that are before you that are petitioning, there's been some type of data discrepancy in their application that has prohibited the office staff from moving forward and issuing the license. Whenever that occurs, we send them a letter, the applicant a letter communicating that we're unable to verify information in their application. And if they wish for an additional review, they have to petition the board and appear before the board to state their case. This is one of the applicants that have experienced the letter that we send out informing them that we're unable to process their application. With Ms. Nguyen, this applicant is attempting to transfer her California nail tech license to Nevada. As you can see on the board, can everyone see the PowerPoint right here? Yes? Oh. Or you can move your eyes to the screen on the top. All right, sorry about that. California board issued the license for Ms. Nguyen in August of 2008. Upon reviewing the reciprocity application that Ms. Nguyen submitted to Nevada, she communicated that she attended beauty school to earn her nail tech license from June 2009 to January 2010. Her schooling happened a year after the stated August 28th date. That in turn results in a data discrepancy that we're unable to verify. So we send out our template letter saying we're unable to process your application due to unable to verify your schooling information.
Any board members have any questions for our deputy and director? If not, can we hear from Ms. Nguyen?
Hello, yes. I'm sorry when I fill out a form. It's been like 11 years, so I can't really remember the day. So I just put the wrong one. I'm so sorry.
Any board members have any questions?
I'm sorry, do we need to have her sworn in? She was? Okay, thank you.
There's no questions from any board member?
Brian Baltazar, so I'm sorry, what was the discrepancy, or what was your error in filling it out?
When I fill out a form, I just can't remember the exactly day and years. So I just remember like not really. So and I just put the wrong one on the paper. So
Debbie Ritchie, so everybody's clear. I think we're all like sitting here going, okay, so what does this mean? You filled out the form, you put the date, and you filled in the wrong date. Is that what you were saying?
yeah, wrong years, wrong date.
So if you filled in the wrong date, do you have the dates to match that?
We have
yeah.
yet received anything from,
Go ahead.
I have contact my schooling. I have calling California State Board, and I have the day I start and my day registration now. Do you need the day?
Adam, can you verify that, please?
if she can provide any document that would indicate that she had attended school during the time frame she says, and we can validate that, that would be okay to proceed forward. We just haven't received anything that would allow us to proceed forward with this.
So what we need from you is we need for you to get your paperwork and send it, because you knew we were going to be here today, and here we are. So you need to go and do your homework and bring it back to the state board so we can grant you what you need. But without that, we can't do anything as a board. I don't know.
I do. Tia Latrell McCormick, I do have a question. I want to know if you, hi, did you know that already prior to your appearing before us today, that that's what you needed to do? Were you aware that you needed to submit this paperwork prior to coming here today? Did they notify you of what needed to happen in order for you to get this license that you're requesting?
Yes. I send them an email for for my cooling information, and the only thing they just send me back is email with the day I start school.
No. I'm so sorry. For us, did you know what you needed before you appeared before this board to get your license? Like, before coming here today, did they tell you, sorry, you're denied, and here's what you need to do?
Yes.
Okay, so if you're still here and you haven't done it, then I guess I'm wondering what is it that you're asking from us?
I just asking. I'm just sorry about I just fill out the wrong day and time when the application.
Okay, so we're not here to. It's not a matter of, you don't have to apologize to us. It's just being in compliance with the law. So if you know what you need to do, then I think you need to get your records like it was stated. But if there's no other request, then I think we just need to make the motion.
Gwen Bramo, board member. I just have one question for you. Ms. Wing, my question for you is that information that the California State Board, they sent to you? Is it the same time frame that you attended school? Does it say when you attended school and when you graduated, or does it just say when you took your license?
Yeah, they just say when I took the license and what is the day I graduate, and this is the one I got.
Okay, so that's her transcript.
Yes.
That is from this, that's what, Madam President, that's what the data discrepancy is. The state of California indicates that she was licensed in August of 2008, but on her application, she said she didn't start school until 2009 and didn't graduate till 2010. It would be the document from that school that would communicate to us her time frame.
Okay, another question. So what school did you attend? When did you attend school? Because that's what's going to be important. What's going to be important, I believe, here is when you attended school and you graduated. Sometimes people don't go right ahead and take their test for license, but what you're saying is, because what we're asking is what's your school transcript? What does the school record state?
On 2008, my graduation day is my start day is March 29, 2008, and graduation day is June 8, 2008.
So I think at this point that we can make a motion for the documents to be submitted for review again, because if you have the documents that they're requesting, there's not going to be an issue with you getting your license. But it has to be the documents that's requested. So whether if it's coming from your school and it's approved by the Board of Cosmetology, then there shouldn't be an issue. So now that you have everything you need, do you have everything you need to submit to the Cosmetology Board office?
This is the only email I got from Kari. So she just sent me, she said, all I can tell you is start day and the graduation day. And that's it. So I don't know that. Can I turn it in?
Tia Latrell McCormick, I'm sorry, this is just, it is my opinion, one board member, that you showed up here today to petition for something that's already been laid out, what you have to do. You cannot bypass what they told you need to do and then bring the same information in front of this board and think that you're going to get a different answer. The answer you've had, and you have had for quite some time. You need to provide documentation in the form that they requested it, and that is it. Otherwise, the answer is the same because you provided nothing new. I don't understand the confusion. I would like to make a motion. This is not any different than what the violation is. So, a motion. A motion to deny this petition when you have your stuff together according to state law, then you can resubmit. And otherwise, we won't be pending anything, holding anything, or wasting any more resources.
Debbie Ritchie, I second that motion. But I think Lynn has to.
Right. Do you understand what's happening now? Ms. Wing? Do you have anything different? No, but not try, but do you have anything different?
I don't have any.
If you have anything different, just take it to the Cosmetology Board office and submit those documents, but there's nothing that we can do different today.
Yes, the thing is, it's been
okay, hold on. Let the deputy director tell you what you need to do, and then that's it, okay?
I'm really sorry, but I don't have any information. I tried to contact the board and everywhere, and they say my schooling is closed. I tried to call the school, but the school not answering, and I tried everything I can do, but the only thing I get is just one email say that, so I don't know what to do now.
Board Member McCormick, I'm sorry to hear that, but the gates are up for the reason that they are. Everyone has to comply. So this is black and white. I need a motion. I'll make it myself then. Oh, I did. Okay, do we need a second?
I second that motion.
I don't feel real comfortable right now without getting some clarity here. Can you give her a little bit of more clarity when a school closes, what do you do? Because there's going to be some schools that close. So it needs to be addressed.
And I agree with you that there are going to be schools that close. We saw that with some schools here in Las Vegas. However, you should still, as a student, have your records. She's asking to transfer. This isn't even a school that she can locate. So that's not the burden of responsibility is not on us to provide those records. I think that's what we have to remember moving forward. That is not our burden. They've got to be able to provide these records.
There have been several schools that have shut down in California as a result of an investigation that they've been doing. Unfortunately, this applicant has attended one of those schools, and this applicant may not be able to get their transcripts because the school has been closed down, because instead of going through an investigation through the Department of Education with California that oversees higher education, these schools have elected to shut down and close down their doors. As a result, some of these schools have been fined for doing that, closing down their doors and not going through an investigation. Unfortunately, there was a data discrepancy. We've asked for the applicant to provide us with information to make us feel more confident issuing the license for consumer protection, that this individual does have basic competency in infection control and delivering safe and sanitary services to the consumers. Unfortunately, you cannot get a license in 1 year and then the following year go to school and then graduate that second year after that. So we have not been able to receive the documents to help us verify the information she's providing us or validate her training credentials. For her to do so, she may contact her school, get a transcript, something that communicates the dates of attendance. But right now, all we have on file for us is that she got licensed first and then went to school second and graduated third.
For the clarity, please, can I get a motion? Did we get a second?
We already did that too.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. The next person to the podium is Tai Tran. Yes. Just come in. You have to be sworn in. Yes, can we hear from the Deputy Director, please?
Thank you, Madam President. Adam Higginbotham, Deputy Director. On the next applicant, again, any application that you see, any petition before you, they've submitted an application. There was a data discrepancy identified in the application, which prohibited our ability to proceed with the application on our level, and we kick it up to the board to make a decision. This is T-Tran. The applicant is attempting to transfer a California nail tech license to Nevada. However, the applicant was at a California DMV on a day that the applicant was credited 10 hours towards her nail tech training. The photograph on the left indicates that she was in school on January 15th, 2019 from 9 a.m. to 7:03 p.m. The document on the right is actually the DMV printout that everyone gets whenever they're at the DMV in California. And it shows the exact same date and time of January 15th at 14:43, which I believe is 2:43, I guess, 14. So there's a data discrepancy where the applicant school has communicated that she was at school earning hours when an official government document has her at a completely different location.
Question for you. Any questions for Deputy Director? My question is this one of the schools that's on the that list?
I would check to see. I don't know off the top of my head.
Can you please check? Can you state your name, please?
My name is King Lê.
Can you go ahead to proceed the case? You can go ahead and speak.
Well, I believe that she went to the Jet Beauty Barber College in San Jose. And I don't understand why, what the thing that you, the deputy talked about the DMV.
Go ahead, Deputy Director, please. 1 second.
What it is that the school that the applicant has attended said that the school was, the applicant was here at school that day.
Yes.
However, that person was actually at the California DMV on that day. So the applicant can't be at two locations that are separate from one another at the same time.
Let me explain it to her.
Okay.
Bảo rằng là cái thời gian mà em với lại cái thời gian mà em đi bằng lái xe á, là một, nó trùng với nhau. Tại sao vậy? Oh, she said that that for the DMV is the lunch hour. But I don't know.
Debbie Ritchie, hi, how are you today? So do you understand that you were in school, you claimed you were in school, and you went to the DMV on your lunch hour? DMV on your lunch hour the same day?
DMV?
Lunch hour to go to the DMV, that would be like getting struck with lightning. I mean...
Board Member McCormick, especially in a different state. I don't know how long of a lunch break that is. But
the DMV is only for 1 day, right? To take the exam.
If you go to the DMV and you're in school and you're clocked in,
yes,
and you leave to go to lunch to the DMV,
yes,
how long does it take to get to the DMV? 5 minutes? How long does it take to stand in line? 10 minutes? How long before you get back? It's just it's not even irrelevant at this point to me. So if we can proceed forward, this is...
Again, and am I understanding correct? This would be a lunch break in a different state, right? So we would be, no, this would be all in she's saying all of this happened in Las Vegas?
No, it's
So it
in
happened in
California.
All
We
of it
lived
happened in California.
before we moved to Las Vegas.
So she was getting her driver's license in California
Yes.
while going to school in California at the same
Yes.
time. And she's saying it
Correct.
happened on a lunch break. Did you clock in or out? You clocked in and out?
Debbie Ritchie, I just want to verify that last week, my brother went to the DMV in California and was there for 4 hours. 4 hours.
Gwen Bramo, board member. I think at this point, your school records, the transcripts are showing that you were in school for how many hours that day, Deputy Director? She was in school for, she got credit for 8 hours? Okay. At your school, did you clock when you go when you
Yes.
take a break, like a lunch break? Do you guys clock in and out?
Mỗi lần mà em nghỉ trưa hoặc là em có clock ra in She doesn't.
On January 15th, on the day in question, she was at the school from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m.
It's normal.
with no clock out, no clock time.
Yes.
See, I think what the biggest problem is that you were in, your records are showing that you were in school all day.
Yes.
And then you were showing that you were at DMV as well. So that gives us a red flag, our board office automatically, because nobody's going to be in school from the morning to the evening and then go to DMV at 2 in the afternoon. So at some point you should have said, I was at school, I took a break, I have less hours because I went to the DMV, but you didn't do that. You gave yourself all these hours and then you were at DMV. That don't match. So I think what you probably need to do now is work with the board office to see if there's any acceptable documentation, if the school is not one of those schools that's on our list that gives hours to students.
Okay.
So if your school's not a school that give hours to students, I would work with the board office, with the deputy director, and show the proper documents that the school didn't require you to clock in and out. And I don't know what they're going to request from you, but there's nothing that we could do about it. So I would like to have a motion.
This is Kai Stanton. I just looked up the school. It stays open till about 9 o'clock in the evening. So if we do have those hours that are actually showing she clocked in and out the full breakdown, and if she stayed all the evening, then I can understand why that would be highly confusing, especially not having those hours with the clock in and out and the breakdown time. Because if her school does stay open until 9 p.m., I do want to make sure that we are getting the right information required to make sure that it's all beneficial in everyone's case equally. So I'm not saying it wasn't done or that it was done. I know also, looking up the information, it shows that the DMV was 15 minutes away. So I do want to make sure also that we have the proper documentation given by the student to have accordingly to match what needs to be done. If not, then I do concur with what needs to take place.
Debbie Ritchie, I do have a license for the state of California. I do know the laws there, and I do know that when you're a full-time student, it's an 8-hour day, and if you're part-time, it's at night. So did you attend night school? Were you a part-time student?
No, she's full-time.
No, you were full-time.
From at least from 8 to 5.
Full-time? Yeah, then there's no way. So there's no way that could have transpired.
This is Kai Stanton. I'm just stating that if she came in at 9 o'clock in the morning and clocked in, communicated with an instructor to leave for the DMV, 15 minutes away to go to the DMV, and then you clocked out, you returned back to finish those hours to concur through the evening time, that has been approved in some case-to-case basis. I'm not saying that that is the case. I'm just saying that we just need the proper documentation to prove those cases.
Yeah, I understand, but I'm also knowing that when you're a full-time student, if she did clock out and she did in fact go to the DM, I understand what you're saying though, totally. But at this point, you know, the DMV, you're at the DMV, clocked in at a school, you're a full-time student, the school's open till 9 o'clock at night. Those are for part-time cosmetologists that attend night school, not day school. So that, to me, that'd be an unreasonable amount of time to get to a DMV office, stand in line, and come back to school. It shows that her working, clocking in for 8 hours, Adam? 8 hours?
It shows from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Wow.
Without any...
9 to 7.
Gwen
Okay,
Bramo,
thank
board
you.
member.
But-
So there's no breaks in between on any of those days?
There is not. I do want to communicate to the board that this school is not on Nevada's watch list, and it is not on California's watch list right now. So there's not any identified data discrepancies that have been initially communicated by the school that doesn't match with what the applicant has provided.
Yeah, Latrell McCormick, I think I just want to make the statement that we know that all options have been laid out to them prior to coming before the board. So to sit and discuss all the options that they have sometimes.
But there, I believe in this case,
hold on,
excuse me, Gwen Bramo.
I'm just gonna finish. Yeah, I did. But as it pertains to this, you can't be in two places at one time. So when there is the presence and the obvious, they've proven that there's some kind of either discrepancy or deception or whatever it may be, that's why she's here. That's been proven. I don't know that we need to hash that amount. You can't be two places at the same time. All the other options, that's fine. But they gave that's was for her to do prior to getting here. Now what's before us is whether we're going to uphold this, what they found, or not. All this has already been done by
Gwen
our staff.
Bramo, board member. I think at this point, I will go back to the board with the documents, something from the school.
Okay.
And that's going to be acceptable for the board office, because if the school's not on our watch list and the school is not on California's watch list, being a school owner, that's huge to me. So I'm sure that there's some maybe documents that maybe the school allow them to stay extended hours and they don't have a clock in break process. Processes are different at different schools. So if it's a school that's acceptable to Nevada and to California, we're here too as a board is to help assist the board office. And we want to be able to make too for the public that when you've spent a long time in this business in school and you're in a legit school, I think there should be something that we can make sure we exhaust all measures before we not allow a person to work. If something's done differently, I totally understand, but that's not our call. So you would have to go back to the board office with some documents from the school, and they can tell you what those documents are.
Debbie Ritchie, I just want to ask her one thing. Did you get a license that day? Did you go to the DMV and get a license that day? Yes or no? No. Why are you asking him? I know.
Có cái license của driver license ở California hôm đó không?
Did she get a license that day? How come?
No.
How come? You went to the DMV.
Yes.
You stood in line. Did you stay in line?
I have appointment.
You what? You had appointment.
Yes.
Okay, you had appointment. I know. So you had appointment, and did you get a license?
What date is that?
Did they take your picture?
Did she get her driver's license?
Yeah.
She recently. In what date is that?
January 15th.
Oh no, she didn't get the license yet.
So, Madam President,
Well, I'm just trying to really see in my mind, because I want to know for myself if she's telling the truth or not. And she just said she had an appointment. Okay, so what time, is it in the morning, night? It's getting really foggy to me, really foggy. No, it's very simple, sir.
Yes.
Can you talk to me for a second?
Sure.
Did she get a license that day? Did they take her picture?
Is that a driver's
And identification, driver's license, that's why you go there.
Brian Baltazar, so I think what she's trying to say is that she had an appointment like we do here in Nevada, where we get an appointment, you go in, and you get out. I think that's what she's trying to communicate. But it doesn't change the fact that we still need the documents to verify your hours. So even though some of us may be akin to maybe believing your story and others are not, it doesn't change the fact that you need to go back. You have to get the hours because the decision is going to stand. I do not believe we're going to be able to grant any kind of leniency. You just have to go back. That's pretty much the end of the story. We're not denying anything. We're just asking that you go back to your school, which I just pulled up online, and just go to your school, get your hours, and turn it into the board staff. It's not that hard.
Yeah, and she did have 9 hours that day clocked in, correct?
Yes.
9 hours, right?
Yes.
10 hours.
At least from 7 a.m. from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m.
From 9 a.m. to 7 a.m.
7 p.m.
7 p.m. Yeah. Okay,
So-
thank you.
So, Madam President, the applicant needs to obtain a letter explaining the January 15th, 2019 discrepancy from the school. And that would be sufficient to override the data discrepancy if the school can communicate why.
Yes. Gwen Bramo, I would like to have a motion that the recommendations from Deputy Director stands, and she can move forward with those documents to be licensed after the board's approval of those documents. Can I get a motion, please?
Debbie Ritchie, I second that motion.
Um,
All right. I make a motion to uphold what you just said.
Well, I'd like to be clear on that because what was before us was to reject this application. And I feel like that's getting muddled. If she needs to come back, we still need to deal with what's before us, which is, to this point, she hasn't been able to do what she's supposed to. We need to reject it. She can do whatever she needs to do on the back end. So I would like to make a motion about that because that's what's here for us to make a motion on.
Sorry, but I'm not hearing what's being
Are you saying you want to make a motion?
She wants to make a motion.
Okay,
So-
but you can speak up so I can hear.
Sorry, real quick, then just for the record, we do have a motion on the table. And so if Madam President can call if there's going to be a second or not, so it can fail for lack of second, and then we can do a new motion. But we do have somebody who proposed a motion already.
Okay, I'm going to,
Can I get a second on the motion that was before?
What was the motion again?
The motion was to accept, after board makes the decision, to accept the documentation requested by Deputy Director Adam, and for board staff approval.
Would it be easier just to withdraw the motion and just restate the whole thing? Because I think it's getting muddled.
Okay, I'll restate the motion.
I think whoever motion has to withdraw.
No.
The original motion?
So if there's a motion on the table, nobody can just second it, and it'll just fail for lack of second.
I believe he wants me to restate the motion.
dismiss it and restate it.
We're gonna,
There's no, so motion fails for lack of second.
motion failed for lack of second.
Yes.
And now it's mine. And so now, again, I'd like to make a motion to, based on the action here, to reject this application due to the discrepancies.
Sorry, to deny the petition.
To deny the petition. And that's it.
So you deny the application, so we have to do it again?
Hold on.
That's what the vote is. That's what they're
I
talking.
second that motion, Debbie.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
So just so you're not confused, we're just voting your petition to accept your application. It doesn't mean that you're not allowed to reapply. You just have to go back, get the documentation that they're requesting, and reapply.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is what you need to do
Okay.
before you can bring feedback. So you need to contact the school. So here's what the issue is. You see this? This is the official time card of January 2019.
We're going to take a 15-minute break while you explain that. Thank you. Okay, we're ready to begin. Everybody's here. Okay, the next person to the front would be, is it Holly Pham? Come forward, please, and be sworn in. Hi, can you state your name and turn around and be sworn in, please?
Turn around here. Solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Can we now hear from our Deputy Director, please?
Thank you, Madam President. Adam Higginbotham, Deputy Executive Director. Again, anytime we find something that is unexplained or a discrepancy with the existing data within an application, we send a letter that says we're unable to process your application. And if you wish to get a formal review of this, then they need to petition to review the matter before the board. In this case, Holly Pham is an existing licensee. The licensee is a licensed cosmetologist in Nevada since 2007 via reciprocity for California. Currently, her license renewal application has been flagged unable to verify. A data discrepancy was found in Ms. Pham's original reciprocity application that places Ms. Pham in Nevada DMV during the time that Ms. Pham was training as a cosmetologist in California. An interview was held with Ms. Pham where we communicated the information, and she went and got a record from her school. Ms. Pham was able to provide a daily time record from the school in California in order for us to renew a license. Ms. Pham school has provided the attendance log, but in that attendance log, it was electronically created, but it was not a computer-generated report. There are similar time patterns and manual edits that exist on the daily attendance log, and that further questions the legitimacy of the documents because the edits that are on the timesheet. The beauty school that Ms. Pham has attended for her cosmetology training is no longer recognized by the state of Nevada and has been caught providing the state of Nevada with inaccurate records on numerous occasions and may be one of the most frequent violators of providing us with information that we cannot verify. If you want to look at the daily time record that we do, the attendance log that we do have on file, one of the first observance that the staff has identified was the start date and end date types. The font size is different from all the other documents, and if you scroll down, you're going to see coincidental data indicators, which means back-to-back days she clocked in at the exact same time and clocked out at the exact same time. But the questionable areas of the documents get into the time frame of where we do find a data discrepancy from her being in Nevada DMV and her getting hours in California. There have been modifications made to the Excel spreadsheet, which we thought we were getting a computer-generated report from the software, but it was a manual attendance log.
Thank you,
So
Deputy.
I'm scrolling down to show the discrepancy. And as you can see on week 40 and 41, 42, there's additional dates that are just thrown in where we thought we were getting a computer-generated report, and then when we look at the data, it shows that there are actually manual edits within the spreadsheet itself that cause question to the validity of the document.
Board members have any questions for Deputy Director? Adam, no questions?
Hi. Hi, all the member. Yeah, I understand the question he addressed here, and I would like to have something to explain about that. My school right now currently not closed like another school. Of course, I know it's on the watch list in Nevada State Board watching it. And I do go to school. Now I will approve the time lock the school send to State Board. Whatever they send the day I option to go DMV in Vegas, I ask permission from school. I'm go one day, so I take off one day. So the school agree for me to take off. So I go State Board. I do tell them that I don't go school on that day, and I get permission. So State Board approve on that reason already. The second reason, he confused and he cannot clarify the date because, as I remember, because it's a fall while already, I go school. When I go State Board 2 years ago to apply for the license, transfer from California to Las Vegas, I fill the form. They have a start date and graduate date. So on that day I go, I don't remember the date exactly, but April 2017. Go there and I see in my mind, I write the start date is the start date of school. When I go on school, it's October 2015. But I write on the paper, it's a December, it's a 2 month difference because it's a fall while. So I'm sorry I write on that, that's wrong. But the graduate, I supposed to write the graduate from school when I finish. But I write the day I finish exam in California because when I finish exam, I'm go to Nevada. After I get the pass, I'm going to transfer license. So in my mind, I write the date I just get exam pass. But I don't write the graduate on school. That's the wrong date. So they email with my school, ask the time log, and explain why. So I find my mistake. I'm going to State Board. I say the form I write wrong. So you cannot find the date correct with my school time log because I graduated in August 2016. Because I start at October 15. And I write wrong graduated because my think about the day I go I pass exam. Because when I go the exam on California on January, I failed first time. I must go study again. So take me a while to get the second exam to pass it. So like April 2017, I pass it. So that's why when I write back the date, I write wrong. And then I talk with State Board that the reason you cannot verify me because the form I fill is the wrong date. Because the start date I write 2 months different because for a while. And the graduate date, I write the date I pass exam, not the date I'm finished in school. That's why you cannot verify me. So they told with me the document is wrong and cannot verify. But I explained for them the reason you cannot verify because I'm right wrong here. So let me write correct so we can matching with attendant and you verify for me again. And they don't accept it. So I do go to State Board and accept my apology because I write the wrong day. So they cannot verify, but they don't accept it. And they ask for time card login, and I email for them already. And then they say, okay, wait for the higher level. They cannot do anything for me. That's the own story.
Okay.
Any questions by any board members?
Debbie Ritchie, so I'm so confused. I don't even know what you just, I'm so confused, honey.
Sorry,
That's okay. Your English is fine, but I just am so confused. So help me to understand, Adam. I believe that you said that there was no way, that's what I heard, that these documentations that have been issued, this is at a school that has been on watch, correct, Adam?
Correct. This school is, everyone in the office knows this school.
Yeah. So
that's how aware we are of what the school has attempted to do to the Nevada jurisdiction.
right. So without digging in and trying to even try to understand all this because of taking your consideration of what you said and what has already been presented to us on previously meetings with these documentations from these schools. I would like to make a motion.
Just so everyone, I want to make sure everyone's clear that we had an interview with the applicant. We communicated to her that there was a data discrepancy in her file. We thought that the school was already closed down at the time of our interview with her, and we communicated her specific facts of where the data discrepancy was with her information. She went to the school, she came back from the school with a daily time record that we haven't seen from that school before. And when we do look at the daily record, that daily record has manual edits along the time frame in which is in question.
Excuse me, Gwen Bramo, board member. I just think that we all understand, and I just think that the licensee needs to understand that the documents are different, because what you're explaining to us, Holly, hold on one second. You're explaining to us about a document that you submitted at the beginning, that they didn't quite understand it. But I think what you need to understand is that you brought back another document that the board office have a problem with. See, it's right. That's the issue here. The reason why the board office is not allowing you to submit these documents, because you're telling us, the board, that they found issues with all your other transcripts. You came back with another document, and this is a document that the board office is not accepting because of all the discrepancies. So there's nothing that we can actually do, because you submitted one document that they found discrepancies with. Then you came back with another document that there's still discrepancies with. There's nothing that we can do as a board until you clear up the discrepancies.
So what I should do now, because all I know is I write the form at first, wrong date, and now the
That
time
has nothing,
law.
excuse me, that's not what he's talking about. We're not talking about the date that you wrote in that was not correct. We passed that, because you brought in another document. See, that document that they sat down with you and told you that this was not the right document and the reasons why, then you went back to the school and they gave you another document. And this document, am I right, Deputy Director?
Correct.
This
document
document
came from the school.
is a document that has the discrepancies. So there's nothing that we as a board can do about it. You would have to clear that up with the board office. So we have to just make a motion. There's nothing we can do about that, because this document that you brought back from the school is a document that has the problems.
The areas are added. It's not a computer-generated report. I'll communicate to you.
So I will come back to the board and do
They
submit.
will tell you what you need. Can we get a motion, please?
Taylor Trail McCormick, I'd like to make a motion
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
to deny the application to renew the licensing for Holly Pham.
Debbie Ritchie, I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The next person is it Shalina Wright? You can state your name and be sworn in, please.
My name is Selena Wright.
Affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
So I believe that this is for you, Leah. You're going to talk about? Gary. Okay, Gary's going to speak on that one. Okay, we're going to hear from our executive director.
Yes, the letter went out to Ms. Wright denying her the ability to get licensed because she had a felony conviction with violence and I can't issue a letter, or I can't issue a permission to get a license as long as there's a felony conviction with violence. So we indicated to Ms. Wright to come before the board and ask the board to do that, because that's where you get the formal approval for that. The things that I thought were interesting in Ms. Wright's application, I could have easily given her the approval, but I couldn't because I can't do it for a felony conviction with violence. So that's why she's appearing before the board today. With violence, yes. And she'll explain what.
Right. Any question for Executive Director?
Yes, Debbie Ritchie, are we able as a board to overturn that and grant her to be able to get a license?
Yes, you are. It's only the board that can grant approval for a felony conviction with violence for anyone who applies to the board.
This is Kai Stanton. I have a question regarding the first paragraph, which it says, which was completed, impulse control classes, which was completed within the 2 years for a year and a half of honorable discharge by the judge. Was that in consideration to the felony still stands, or that it was just an honorable discharge of charges, but not the felony? The felony is still on the report. If I'm confused, I just want to be.
Yes, the felony was not, my understanding, the felony was not lifted. The felony still stands on Ms. Wright's record, but that she was given an honorable discharge from the system.
Any other questions by the board?
I do have one question. Okay. Yeah, we would love to hear from you, but I just want to ask you, the last time this happened in 2003, and since 2003, you've had nothing come up, or no misdemeanors, no nothing? Yes or no?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
So you wrote a letter to the board. You want to read that?
Oh, I don't have it with me. I thought they had
You
it
could just
on
speak.
file.
You want to say to us?
Basically, I'm sorry. The offense was 15 years ago. Well, for Nevada statute, for me to sell my record, that's why I say 15, but it's been longer. I have paid my dues to the victim. I wish I would have, put my pride aside and not get in this whole altercation with her in the beginning. I'm sorry, I just hate reliving this every time I have to
Board member,
appeal for something.
you don't have to relive this. This is not our place to have you relive this. And I think that you have the floor right now just to tell us what you can do with this license so that we can best support you, because the past is the past and the past is your past. So I'd love to hear what you want to do with your license so that we can put it before the board okay?
Well, my goal with my license, because I am a certified medical assistant, I wanted to bring them together and to for men and women who are not just seniors, but there are others who are not able to, go to salons like normal. So I wanted to, do contracts with these nursing homes, with these halfway homes, or I can't think of it right. My mind is boggled. But I just wanted to do that because my grandmother wasn't able to go to the salons and stuff to get her feet and stuff done. So I used to always do them. Because of her sickness as a diabetic, she couldn't get her feet trimmed. She couldn't get in the sink because, she was overweight. So I would do everything. So I wanted to do that for people who can't, come out, because it's a messed up feeling when you don't look the part. Not just, glamorous, but just normal.
So you're a licensed cosmetologist?
No, I'm not. It said to renew on here, but I've never had a license. I just finished school March 23rd of this year.
Okay.
This is my second time going to school, but I've never had a license.
Never had. Okay, I'm sorry. I think I read that wrong.
Well, can we get a motion?
Debbie Ritchie, I'd like to make a motion to approve you to get your license and move forward with your life. I think you're going to do a lot of great things.
Can I get a second?
This is Kai Stanton. I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
I just have one question. When I go apply for my license, how do I answer that question when it comes up?
You'll answer that you have a felony conviction, but we'll also have record that you appeared before the board, and we'll supplement that in your account, so you should be fine.
Okay, good luck on everything.
Okay.
The next person, I believe, is it Samantha Kelsch? Is Kelsey? Kelsch, I said it right, huh? Okay, can we, state your name and be sworn in, please? I'm sorry, can then we also have sworn in our Maggie Adams, compliance specialist, please?
I do.
Okay, Miss Maggie, you got the floor.
All right. Thank you, Madam Chair. We received a complaint that Samantha Kelsch was providing services out of a grooming salon, dog grooming salon. During the investigation, we found, you see her board info before you. She does not have a limited license. There was no current place of employment listed. Her license was issued March 28th, 2018. She was registered as a student on April 4th, 2017. We found these postings on her social media where she lists herself as a cosmetologist and a professional pet stylist. That was on April 18th of 2019. She also had a social media post under Hair and Fur by Sammy. On Instagram, this was printed April 18th of 2019. Again, on Hair and Fur by Sammy, there was a posting of hair being styled December 17th of 2017. That is prior to her having a license. Also, she has a Instagram post under Spolish, where she states, "I'm a licensed cosmetologist. I provide hair, skin, and nails on the go." Posted March 7th of 2019. Again, Spolish, March 30th of 2019, showing a manicure. And then the final post that we found, it said, "The beginning, there's a nail station." And the post, you can see a Nevada Cosmo license posted on the wall. So we issued 2 citations, one for operating a salon without a license, and one for practicing at a location not licensed or authorized by the board, practicing outside of the salon without a limited license, which she does not hold.
Debbie Ritchie, hi, how are you today? So that manicuring table, where is that?
That's actually in my living room. At the time that was posted, my father and I were looking into real estate to open our own salon. So I was just getting things together so that when I had the salon, that I could move that right into the property. But it wasn't my living room. It was just set up for...
So have you been to school to get a cosmetology license?
Yes.
So when did you finish school? What was the date?
I was part of the hair design program at the Academy of Hair Design from April of 2017 until December of 2017. In January of 2018, I returned to school to finish my cosmetology. I never got a license for the hair design.
Okay. So basically you're telling everybody that, you're a licensed cosmetologist. And so can you explain why you would do that on social media? We're not here to say yes, no, why. We're just here to protect the public, to be
Right, I
honest.
completely understand, and I was employed through Smart Styles by Regis.
Okay.
I started with them in April of 2018.
Did you bring verification of employment with you today?
No, I didn't.
Okay, go ahead.
But I was employed there. I started April 3rd of 2018, and I was there until November of 2018. After that point, I stopped doing cosmetology, and I went back to doing animals. I've been grooming animals for 14 years, so.
So to groom animals in the state of Nevada, you do not need a license.
Correct.
So the whole thing is that we're here today because you're telling the public that you're practicing, even though if you're not, you're still saying that you are. So you understand, as a board, we're just trying to uphold the law.
Right, and honestly, at the time that website was set up, the Spolish website, its original name was Wicked Decals and Grooming, because my husband and I had a grooming salon that we had from June 17 until August of 2017. When we closed that down, I'm not huge on social media. Like, I don't know how to really work it, and I didn't know how to delete the page. Spolish is a name I came up with in school, because eventually I wanted to open a salon that was half cosmetology and half pets, so you could get your
what a great idea
animals groomed
I have
at the
to
same
commend
time.
you for that. That's a great idea.
So
but
that
what
was,
I want to tell you is that, you know, we're at a day and age that everything is social media, and I understand everybody's trying to do all they can to build their business, but I don't think people really are understanding that, you know, that is against the law to do that. And so sometimes people have to be, you know, held accountable, because we can't, you know, keep letting this occur.
Well, I understand.
I hope you understand that we're not.
The pictures of the manicure and the hair, that's actually my sister and my daughter.
Yeah.
I have never done a client or even offered services in or out of my home. I've only done services inside that Regal.
Yeah, so
Regis salon.
we're fining you $500 for without a license working in a, correct? What's the fees again?
Correct. We have two
$500.
citations. One is operating a salon without a license. That was the.
Now, do we have actual that she was really cutting hair and operating a salon? Is there any proof of that?
We don't have any pictures in action. We do have what appears to be a set-up salon with a posted license and a manicure station.
And that's at her home?
That's inside my home, yes.
And for some reason, she said that's there because she is going to be opening up a salon, or I get it. I can see the picture. We all can see the picture. But when you tell somebody that that's what they did, and you don't really have 100%. So what's the other fee?
The other one was for practicing without a limited license, where she states on March 7th of 2019 that she offers hair, skin, and nails on the go.
Did you put that in?
I don't remember putting that in, to be real honest.
Tell me the truth. Did you put that in?
I'm being honest. I don't remember putting that in.
Who posted it on your phone? Because it came from your phone.
My mother-in-law has access to, again, that was through the Wicked Decals and Grooming, and she has access to all of that thing.
Right.
But I honestly, I don't remember putting that in.
Are you going back to school to be a cosmetologist?
I am a licensed cosmetologist now. I'm not currently
I thought
practicing.
you said you went back to school and then you didn't get your license. That's
No,
what I
I said was I didn't get my license from the hair design program. I went back to school in January and finished my cosmetology, and I received my license in March of 2018.
And these pictures were taken?
These were taken from not her personal Facebook page or Instagram page, but from actual what appeared to be business pages.
Right.
With names.
It was the Spolish page through my page.
Okay. No, thank you.
Taylor McCormick, I do just want to make a comment. This whole thing is a violation, and I'm sorry, but for someone who did just get out of school, again, I know that you know that we don't have salons in our homes.
Right.
And so you're advertising, and the word "the beginning" is just that. It was your beginning. I take what I see at face value, And I just want you to own up to this, grow from it, and continue on.
I'm accepting it. I'm
Yeah.
just the beginning.
So you
meeting,
do-
I'm
you do
getting
accept
everything
it?
ready for my salon because I was looking at properties to open a salon.
Mm-hmm.
I had gone and done walkthroughs. We were looking into opening.
But you
a
didn't have
salon.
one yet, right?
No, we didn't.
Have
but
you
I was
secured one since? Are you working anywhere now? Or
like I said, I'm not practicing currently. No,
you're just advertising?
I'm not. I haven't done anything with that page since I got the citation from you guys because I didn't want it to look like I was hiding anything.
So let me ask you a question. What do you advertise for if you're not wanting business?
What do you? I put that on there because I was just, I don't know, I thought I was doing social media the way you were supposed to. I have 6 children.
You're doing
I'm
social
not
media.
trying
No,
to
no,
do
no.
something
I understand the children. We all do. But
inappropriately.
no, I'm saying, but what was your intention behind posting if not to draw business?
I had posted it to the group of friends that I went to school with because we had all talked about opening a salon, and they were part of that group. And we had initially talked with them coming in and being the cosmetologist, and I was going to go into the dog grooming part.
Okay. Well, I think it's time to make a motion. I don't have any more questions. I think we have everything that we need right here.
Any other questions for any other board members?
I just want to say there are so many. I mean, I've actually posted in all my salons on the front door. You know, there is so, you know, the board, the cosmetology board, we take our business very seriously. And I happen to be on the board and I own salons, and I've made it very clear to people that please be careful. I mean, I know all this social media and all flicking, you know, send and it's
Just gets
gone,
you in trouble.
and then you're in trouble, and it snowballs and it's just a mess. But until everybody really knows the score, I don't think people really take it seriously. And unfortunately, you know, here you are, and there it is, and you know what I mean.
So can I get a motion, please?
Tia Latrell McCormick, I would like to make a motion to deny the appeal. Uphold the violations issued to Samantha Kelsch for operating her salon without proper licensing.
I believe there's 2 violations.
And what is the second one? Without proper licensing and without a salon.
Without a limited license.
Without a limited license as well. That's it.
Can I get a second?
This is Kai Stanton. I second that motion.
All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
So what do I do next?
The State Board Office, Ms. Easter, would you state what she needs to do next, please?
Sure. So you'll get a letter following this meeting. Probably they go out the end of this week sometime, and it'll tell you kind of how to pay, what the decision was, that sort of thing. We can help you with some sort of payment plan if you should need it. And it'll just kind of recap what happened here today. Okay.
Thank you.
Sure.
Next, we have Nevada Nails and Spa. David Ring? You're Nevada Nails and Spa, though. Okay.
What I'd like to do is, I'll speak first.
I want you both have to be sworn in. Okay, just 1 second. State your name and to be sworn in.
Joanne Joseph.
Okay. Okay.
I owe.
Yes, ma'am.
solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Okay, well, can we have You want to speak on that, Adam? Give us a little information. Aaliyah, who's ready? Maggie?
Actually, David is our inspector on this. He is out of town, so give me one moment.
Just 1 second.
We'll give you, without David being here, and they can supplement as need be, we'll come with middle ground. It was our understanding that we received a complaint is while Inspector Scarpelli was sent out. And the complaint alleged, I believe, that one individual was using another similar looking individual's license, one doing nails. I think when the story was when David initially went out, I'll verify in the documents he sent us, there was a woman using that license. Come to find out after he had left the inspection that the woman in the license was working somewhere else. And so both parties had kind of been reaching out to us, and they did look similar enough that I think he had some trouble differentiating between the two until I believe the correct owner of the manicurist license had reached out saying, I work at a different facility. So that's when the citation for unlicensed activity was issued. And it was issued after he left inspection, because it wasn't until after he had left that we realized that the woman who was working did not match the woman in the license.
Question for you, Leah. So what I'm understanding, Gwen Bramo, board member, is that there was a license that was it a duplicate license? How would they have two licenses at one time? Or they took a picture of the license, or one was used in the morning and the other in the afternoon?
It's a duplicate license.
It was a duplicate license?
There's two different licenses.
Two different licenses, same picture?
Yeah, it's the same, right. The license is a duplicate for that one person.
Two different places of employment?
Two different places.
I have a question. What's the procedure for getting a duplicate license?
It's simple. It's a $25 fee. It'll say duplicate on it, so we know that there's more than one out there. But a lot of people will do it, especially people who, maybe. Yeah, or you can actually do it online, as a matter of fact. But yeah, if you work at two different places, you obviously don't want to get cited for not having your license posted. You'll buy two and hang them at both locations.
More questions for Ms. Easter? Okay, you're ready. You can speak, sir.
Okay, she described everything perfectly. We got a Social Security card, a state ID, and a cosmetology license from this employee. It was her first day. Mr. Scarpelli went out there specifically to see if this was an unlicensed person, and he was unable to determine at that time, with all his resources, that this was a fraudulent license. Given that, how are we supposed to determine? We did everything reasonably possible on this, and if the state board specifically went out there to find a fraudulent license and then they were unable to determine it, with our limited resources, we feel like we did everything possible to, as we do with every employee.
Gwen Bramo, I have a question for you.
Okay.
So
do I have
what?
to keep pressing this, or?
You can just turn it off. So what you're saying is that when the state board came out, the person that was actually utilizing that license was not the person that was on that license, or that you didn't know that was the person, and you didn't know that wasn't that person's license?
That's correct. And this young lady quit immediately after the state board guy left. And we were oblivious to what was going on. We were unsuspicious. She said that she lived too far away and the business was too slow, and she determined that she didn't want to work there. That's what she told us. And the next day, is when Mr. Scarpelli came and issued the citations. So we just think that the threshold should be at least higher for the state with all their unlimited resources to be able to determine if an employee or if a license is fraudulent than it is for us just looking at one. We had it, prominently placed at her station. We already had both Social Security and state ID, which we required. We don't know what else we could do. In the future, we're going to start calling.
Let me just ask you one more question.
Certainly.
So when the lady left and she was no longer working in your establishment, you didn't have her to take her license with her?
Yeah, she took her license and all her documents.
So she was actually there working that day.
I was not there.
You weren't there,
I was not
right?
there.
That's what I wanted you
I
to
was not
say.
there.
That's what I'm getting to that. So that we can have clarity here. The inspector went into your place of business. There was a lady there working that had a license. That license didn't belong to that person. You weren't there. You weren't aware. Was there a manager there?
Yes.
Okay. So when the lady, after the inspector left, the next day she came in and said, I no longer want to work in your place, and I left.
She left that afternoon. She only worked a few hours.
But that was the next day after. She was working there that day, though, on that license.
Yes. Okay. She left the same day, though. As soon as the inspector left, shortly thereafter, she quit. Said, this is too far away. Business is too slow. I don't know exactly what she said.
But did she look like that was her license?
You know what? I couldn't say. But the fact that we just had all three, a driver's license, and a cosmetology license, that the names matched up, we didn't bother to get on it. The pictures are very small anyway. We didn't even bother.
Do we have pictures?
She said they were very similar. According to Mr. Scarpelli, she said earlier that they looked close enough to him that he was unable to make a determination that day.
That's why they came back.
So
he couldn't make a determination that day.
Debbie Ritchie, so seems like I've met you before. You've been here before. Haven't you been in front of us before?
That's why we go above and beyond. I've been in here before.
Yeah, can you tell me what you were in here before for, sir?
Unlicensed employee. So that's why we go
thank you.
above and
Thank you
beyond
very
now.
much. I was recalling that.
Okay.
Yeah, where's the, so this was a 1099, a contract employee? What kind of employee was this for you?
This was going to be a...
No, but she was working. What kind of employee was this for you?
What kind of a what?
Employee was this for you? How was she hired?
Just an employee.
How? What kind of employee?
She was a nail technician.
Which type? Well, 1099?
No.
Was she hourly?
No,
What?
W-2 like everybody else.
Okay, so you have copies then of this driver's license, social
No,
security card, all these things that were
we-
matching before you allowed someone to work for you.
I'll let her answer that. She wasn't there either, but I'll let her answer.
Can you press the button? I'm the manager of the nail salon. On Monday, she called me on the phone, say, you guys hiring? I say, yes. And she said, okay, the next day I come in, I think May 8th. But in the morning, I'm not there. I let everybody know, say, if the new girl come in, make sure she show her license, her driver license before she can start. And she start in the morning, and I'm not there. And the state board guy come and check everything fine. And when I come in, she left already.
So, I'm so sorry, but that's as far as pretty much we need to go. You are the manager, right?
Yes.
It was your responsibility. You were not there, and you allowed someone to work in your establishment. The end. You're responsible.
But
there's no buts. You're responsible.
Is the threshold higher for us than
The threshold is that you take responsibility for your employees, sir. And if you cannot do that, you're responsible.
Okay.
That's unfortunate, but it is. I mean, our hands are tied because as a business owner, if something happens in our business, we're just, no matter whether it's in our favor or not, we are responsible. And I understand both sides, but the facts have proven itself that the license was duplicate. That person that came, and it's a lesson in it too. Not all people are going to come and be honest. There are going to be some duplicate license out there. So maybe in the future, I would just be making sure that if it's a duplicate license, you contact the state board, because that means there's an original license. And that person that holds that original license had to apply for that duplicate. So before I would probably hire someone, I would check that duplicate license to see if it's that person, because that means it's two licenses for one person. So I would like to have, you have a question?
I did just want to add one thing, because I did misspeak earlier. The complaint that our inspector went out on was someone complained about pretty much a botched wax job. It didn't have to do with unlicensed activity initially. It was sanitation, and as a result of the complaint inspection, a number of sanitation violations were issued, but it was the unlicensed that was issued after the fact, like we had mentioned. So the original cause for David to go in there wasn't for unlicensed activity, it was sanitation.
So there was no violation for the improper sanitation, or it was?
There were.
And there's fines opposed to that as well?
Yes, and it looks like they have been paid.
Okay.
Yep.
I would like to have a motion, please.
Ritchie to deny. Their action for possible city having other codes to make us having more knowledge to give you. You are responsible for your employees, sir. So the motion is uphold the citation that was given.
Can I have a second?
This is Kai Stanton. I second that motion.
All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. The next person is going to be, is it Chatton? It's TN Salon. TN Salon? 17. Is it going to be one or two gentlemen? Both are going to be speaking? Are you going to be speaking, sir? Okay, we still have to have you sworn in. We're going to have you both. So you can state your name and be sworn in.
My name is Chen Tianquang.
solemnly swear that testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Hold on one second. Do we have inspector that was on that?
Sure. The inspector for that was Kara Ishitani, who's here with us, so she can speak to the citations that were written.
Okay, wonderful. Yes. Can we have her? Can we have our inspector sworn in as well, please?
Right hand? Sorry. You solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, Kara, can you tell us a little bit about, give us some more information?
So, I went to the salon with David during my training with the state board. I believe this was during April or May of this year. We went to Tian Salon and we noticed that there was aesthetic tools and equipment there. We had mentioned that the license for the establishment was only for hair services, so we told them that they needed to remove these equipments or apply for an additional service to their license to prevent them from getting any citations in the future, so that in that inspection it was going to be a compliance review for having those equipment with the possibility that they may be performing skin services. I returned to the salon later, a few months later, and noticed that the skin equipment was still there and therefore issued a citation for having the tools that were not in their license. And also there was unlicensed activity that day for a barber. She was performing a hair service and she had her barber's license displayed at the time.
Leah Easter, Compliance Coordinator. I also want to add from the office's perspective, which may have predated Kara being here, the salon is actually a hair-only salon. There was a conversation that I had with the gentleman in the yellow, I believe, when he first opened, that I actually made note of in the account, that specified that if he were to add skin and nail services, a new application would need to be redone, and that is dated December of 2018, is when I entered the comment and had the conversation with him. Which is consistent with his initial license, which was December of 2018.
Hi, Debbie Ritchie. What is your name? What is his name?
My name's Ivan.
Ivan. Ivan, so he's the salon owner, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so is he a rental-based or commission-based salon? Does he 1099 people, or does he how does he operate his business?
Yeah, I don't understand either, but
Does people pay him weekly rent, or does he write him a paycheck?
from the
From his business, he's the owner, correct?
yeah, 你寫支票俾個租屋㗎啦，係啊。
He writes a paycheck?
Write a paycheck.
So it's commission. So let me ask you this. Does he have rooms? Because before I hear him say it was one of his friends that were getting a wax or something, does he have a specific room in his salon? How many square feet is his salon? How big is it? How big? How many chairs for hair? 5 chairs? 5 chairs. Bathroom?
Wait, Ivan? Okay, she's not asking you, she's asking him. So you're just going to need to translate.
Yeah,
Okay, so Eva, I know you probably know the answer, but you still need to ask him and he has to answer.
So 5 chairs, 1 bathroom.
Yeah.
Any other rooms? Break room, walls? Yes, no?
有冇休息房？有嘅，但係啱當時嗰個美容床喺度，係之前嘅老闆留低喺度嘅，未得閒攞走我。呢間鋪頭我啱接手嘅啦。He say that shop is new. He just take over.
Is there a break room?
They have a little break room.
Ivan,
break room.
Again, you're translating. So did he say they have a little break room? What did he say about the break room?
That's right. They have a little break room.
Okay. So he said there's a break room. Okay. So is there a break room? Ask him if there's a break room. Is there a break room? Is there walls? Yes, no?
個休息房裏面係咪休息房嚟嘅？係咪一埲牆嘅？係。
Yes.
Yes.
Yes? Now, when you found those tools, was it in that room?
To my recollection, I don't really recall there being a break room. I mean, this was months ago. To my, honest.
But when you walked into the salon, there's 5 chairs, so it's all open. So did you find him sitting in a cart in the open?
It was located in what appeared to be an aesthetics room in the back to the left.
So there is a room.
Yes.
So they're calling it a break room, but there is a room.
Yes.
So this tells me that it couldn't have been one of your friends that you were going to wax or something like that. It was actually in a room with 4 walls, correct? That they've been out previously before and found these implements there, which you didn't get rid of. So it tells me that you were definitely doing skin in that room. So that's all I'm going to say. You need to, if you're going to do more than hair, you need to go back and get an application and do it the right way. Otherwise, you're not going to have a business.
Taylor Trell McCormick, I have one question. He was notified during the first inspection that stuff needed to be gotten rid of, right? And that was in writing, that was all.
Yes.
Sir, why did you not comply after the first inspection?
I don't understand.
Okay. 1 inspection was completed. He was advised and told to remove the aesthetic equipment. Months went by. Why did you choose to not comply with the instructions from the first inspection?
佢話開頭佢嚟警告你嘅，點解你唔收埋？點解你搬走？嗰個老闆去咗中國旅遊， 佢未翻嚟，所以我搬唔到，佢唔知佢住邊度。
That question is the old owner left it. That's why he go back to China, and then that's why we don't bring.
Okay, so Debbie Ritchie, so old owner, so he's a new owner, yes?
He's new owner.
He's new owner. What day did he take ownership of the salon?
It looks like we have an application on file for him somewhere around December 5th of 2018.
2018.
Gwen
So-
Bramo, I just have one question. Gwen Bramo, board member, is he a licensed, are you a licensed professional?
Yes.
So he practices hair there every day?
That time he not there.
But do you actually work in the establishment? Does he do hair there, or he's just the owner that doesn't do hair?
Madam
Yeah, he do
President.
the hair there.
Okay.
Madam President, I would still just, I'd like to put my answer back. I'd like to put my question before you again, sir. Why did you choose not to comply with the instructions from the first inspection when they told you to remove the aesthetic equipment?
點解你提醒你嗰次點解你唔搬走？
都同佢講咗，當時嗰啲床係之前個老闆嘅，佢而家未翻到嚟，咁我唔知佢住邊度，搬冇地方搬。
佢 had no way to put, and then just to put in the inside of that room.
So he just said that he didn't have any place to put it. So he chose not to comply. Is that right or wrong? Okay, sir, you chose not to comply with very specific instructions to remove aesthetic equipment from your establishment. You did not submit new drawings or request for a new space or new permits. You blatantly disregarded specific instructions. What is your request of us today?
而家今日你反映啲乜嘢？
我哋講你罰款2000蚊，我覺得冇必要咯，即係唔值得咯。
He say he just get right up the $2,000. That's why what reason, and then right up the $2,000 for.
Debbie Ritchie, the reason is because he's not in compliant. That is the reason. So I feel like we need to move forward.
Just one last time. Let's hear from Leah Easter, Compliance Coordinator, please.
Sure. So a few months back, Mr. Kang had come in with a few individuals. You may have accompanied him, and they spoke with a representative on our staff who speaks Chinese, so she was able to communicate directly with Mr. Kang. And it was explained then that he had explained to us through our interpreter that he didn't understand that a California barber's license couldn't work in a Nevada cosmetology establishment. That was the $1,000 citation. From there, we explained the additional $1,000 comes from your offering skin services in a facility not licensed for skin, hence the $2,000. So this was already explained. I'm sure our board staff would be happy to re-explain where the citations are coming from. We have photos, you have them in your board pack, of the barber license, of the aesthetic equipment. You see that there was a compliance review issued months prior where nothing was changed. So I mean, it's pretty straightforward on our end. Again, we'd be happy to have someone speak to him in his native language just to clear up any confusion if he has it. But the $2,000, at least as far as board staff is concerned, is pretty cut and dry. So thank you.
Debbie Ritchie, do you own a law book? Do you have a cosmetology law book? Do you have that?
我冇嗱，我唔識英文啊，冇辦法。
When you engage in business, you need to know what you're doing. And believe me, even I sometimes have difficulties because it's just the society we live in. We have to comply. But at least know if you purchased a business and you're a hair designer, you have to know you can't have a barber. Barber requires 10 by 10 room with the sink with the 4-foot distance. You had him working in there and you're coming in front of us. You need to get a law book and we need to move on.
佢話爸爸阿邊個唔過去喺呢邊剪髮嘅，你嗰啲條件你都唔知？
我唔知，因為佢個 license 係佢考嘅，唔係我考嘅，所以我唔知。佢第一日嚟咗，第一日整咗一個髮啱好。
Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion to uphold all the fines and fees associated with this, what's his name? What number? What number? 17 with S187128.
Taylor
Tan
McCormick,
Salon.
I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The board office will be getting in contact with you. We can give you some information now how to proceed. Thank you.
What he need to do right now.
He needs to talk to them and we need to move on.
Okay.
Thank you.
The next person is it Helen Vong. Come forward, please, to be sworn in. Just state your name. Okay, we have inspector report. Okay, go right ahead. Thank you, Ms. East.
Thank you. So Ms. Vong is the owner of a threading establishment we have in Las Vegas called Blissful Brows. For those of you who don't own threading establishments, they're a little different than your salon. They are a year license. They expire, all of them expire on December 31st of the year. So Blissful Brows opened in 2018. It would expire 12/31/2018. About 2 months before the establishment expires, you actually get in the mail a hard copy renewal from board office. That was never filled out. It had never been renewed. On April 8th of 2019, it still hadn't been renewed. So a letter was sent reminding, here's how you renew, here are the steps to take. It never got renewed. Finally, we had to have City of Las Vegas or Clark County, I can't recall, go out and say, you don't have a license, you need to get this taken care of. And at that point, the owner had come in and paid the $25 to renew the establishment license. In the interim, an inspector had gone out, I believe it was Inspector Ishitani, who's still here if you have any questions, and cited Ms. Vong $500 for working in an unlicensed establishment. And she was cited, I believe, in the end of May. So she was cited May 21st, and the establishment had expired December 31st. Was the last day it was good. So a considerable amount of time had gone by before where it was operating without a license at all by the time she actually paid to renew it.
Any questions for Ms. Easter? Okay. Ms. Vong, you want to go ahead and speak to the board, please?
Yeah, I got the renewal in December of 2018. I forgot about it, just had a baby, so I forgot about it, and the second notice went out, believe it was March. So as soon as I got the second notice, I went into the office to pay the bill to comply with the renewal. And so I went into the office, and one of the ladies that helped me behind the counter, I told her I needed to renew my license, and she was like, no, there wasn't any license needed to be renewed. So she gave me the threading license renewal. I wasn't clear, I wasn't being clear to her that it was the establishment license instead of just a regular threading license. So she gave me the threading license to renew instead of the establishment license. So that was the wrong type of license that's being issued to me. So the inspector came in and says, no, you don't have the license to practice here. So I said, she pulled it up and she was able to view it, but the person inside the office wasn't able to pull it up to allow me to renew the establishment license. So
Great.
that's why I was fine with $500.
Gwen Bramer, board member. So what you're saying is you hadn't been working since the license expired in December? You never went back to do a client until April?
No. I was aware of the license that was expired, not until the second notice went out, which was March. I can't recall the date. But it was just for the establishment license. I do have a cosmetology license as well. I've been working since December, yes. Yeah.
So, well, you were working on an expired license, right?
Yeah, I wasn't aware until I got the second notice in March. So I went in and tried to pay to renew my license in March. I can't remember the date. But the lady behind the counter that helped me, I told her I'm sure you have 90 days to comply, correct?
No, you were like months and months expired.
Yeah,
at this point.
so
Yeah.
the second notice came out. So I didn't realize it until March. So I went into trying to pay for it, and
Okay, so Debbie Ritchie, so we've heard it all.
Yeah.
Okay, so you were late. I mean, you were working, whether you're working or not, it was expired. It was what, 5 months? 5 months? So because you went in
about March, so 3 months.
3 months,
So you
you're-
have 90
come see, come saw.
Yeah.
Okay, so the point is, why are you here? To ask us for forgiveness because you went in front of in the licensing department and they gave you the wrong information? You were all ready. So what are we here? What are we doing?
No,
you tell
I'm
me.
trying to appeal because
Appeal
they
for
gave,
what? Your
they
fee?
sent me a letter to pay to pay for the renewal license and the renewal.
But the renewal
by a certain
license, you were already so late.
I understand. So they
Therefore-
gave me a date to
Yeah.
pay by
Okay,
a
so-
certain date.
This is Kai Stanton. I just want to clarify. Past your expiration date,
Yeah.
expired. You
Yeah.
do not have 90 days after. It is expired. And I think you keep repeating, I have 90 days after. You do not have 90 days after.
Well,
There is a date time
Yeah,
that they
I
expect a
understand.
payment. So that's what I want to clarify because you keep repeating that. And so it's very important that you do, as has been stated before, that you do have your law book and that you do refer to that accordingly, because I'm quite sure that it was clarified, as Ms. Leah has explained numerous times and as the panel has explained. So please don't take the expiration date as, oh, it is expired, I have 90 more days. You don't.
Well,
So let's
no.
just be clear. It's expired. You were working by your own admittance under an expired license. So that's what needs to really be important today, okay?
Yeah, but by March, it was a letter sent out says you need to pay by certain date, and I went in and paid by that certain date. And
Ms. Helen, do you
it
hear
was
what I'm
issued.
saying
I
to you?
understand.
Okay, so that's neither here nor there, and it is a courtesy. It is not our responsibility to send out extra notices upon extra notices about your expiration date on an establishment that you are taking ownership of. It's very important that you take ownership of that and move forward in making sure that it's successful with paying all fines. Hopefully there's no more moving forward, correct? And that we are on point with making sure that it does not expire so that you don't find yourself in the same position.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
No, I just wanted to add, to kind of clarify Ms. Wong's point. She's correct that she went in April and she did renew her personal threading license. At that point, you're right. It's very likely a staff member didn't say, do you also own a salon? Do you also own a threading establishment? We have 30,000 licensees, and while they're all lovely people, I can't tell by looking at you what you own and what you don't own. So normally you would come to me and say, hey, I own something. I need to renew this. So she's probably 100% correct. The person behind the counter didn't say, also, you own a salon, because we would have no way of knowing
Yeah, I
that.
wasn't being cleared, so
Yeah,
that's what
yeah.
happened.
But do you understand the responsibility? However, we are no longer taking any accountability for any continual reminders. It is our important to the due diligence. Okay.
I would like to have a motion, please.
I'd like to make a motion on item TE56 for appealing the violation for unlicensed threading establishment to uphold the fines and the action.
Can I get a second?
This is Kai Stanton. I second that motion.
All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. The board office will be in contact with you. You get in contact with them if you don't hear from them. How many days?
I would give it about 10 days before you have a letter from us.
Thank you. The next person is Barbara Hartcomb. Hello, good afternoon. Yeah, it's still morning. Can you state your name, and we're going to have you sworn in too as well?
You should be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
True.
Say yes.
Yes.
Okay, you can have this once you have a seat there. So you're here today before the board for possible action. You were unable to renew your license due to illness, and you wanted to speak to the board?
Yes.
Can we get a little information about that licensee as well?
So Adam's in a daze over there, but it looks like the license that Ms. Harcum's asking about is she has a cosmetology license that expired in June of this year, and she also has a cosmetology instructor license that expired, in June of 2017 is when the Cosmo, so there's two. Yep, Cosmo expired June 7th this year, instructor expired June 7th of 2017. So it looks like her Cosmo license, I believe, has $130 owed on it, whereas the instructor has $680 owed on it.
Okay, Barbara, you want to go ahead and speak to the board?
Well, the instructor's license is, I had them like 20 years. And in 2016, I had a mishap with my knee, and I wasn't able to work. Well, I'm gonna cut it short. Look, right now, I don't have any money. I get $1,549 Social Security. My rent is $1,000, and the rest I buy food and try to pay the light bill and the gas bill. I called the board, cosmetology board. I tried to get help from the organization called HELP. They was willing to pay the my fee for the license, but they did not want to pay, or they wasn't able to pay the late charges. And that's just where I am. I've been sick. I have all my information here from the doctor, and I don't know what to do. I just don't want to lose my license. I mean, life's going to get better. It just didn't get as better as I thought it was. I went and got a knee replacement. I couldn't walk for maybe 6 months. So that's where I'm at.
So hi, Debbie Ritchie. So you're not really asking for anything about being an instructor again, correct? Or am I hearing that you're here for that as well? Are you just planning on wanting to go back to work and do hair?
No, I don't. No, not necessarily go back to work to do hair, but go back to teach if I can.
So,
I don't wanna lose-
your license your license has not been valid for a couple of years.
Right, for 2 years, yes.
So knowing that, as a board, how do you expect us to just lean you that when it's been 2 years? I mean, 2 years is a long time. I can see the June for to go back and do hair. You say you have no money, you need to get to work. I understand that. But to ask for your license to be an instructor as well, I think is a bit much to ask for.
Why would it be? Okay, I'm not.
If you're here to say you need to make money, you need to go to work, and it's only a matter of $130, correct? Is this correct information?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay. So I think as a board, we're not here to browbeat you. We can clearly see you're not doing so well, right? But a lot of people aren't. But they somehow make it a point to get what they need done. But I understand. We understand. So what I'm asking as a board is to recognize this and maybe help you in some way for possibly dismissing your fee for your license for your to work. But as far as an instructor license, it's been 2 years. So that's
okay.
I want to try to explain it to you, Barbara. Actually, the board really don't have any type of leeway if the license expired. If I think when before the license expired, if you would have maybe went into the board office to talk to board staff to get some type of payment arrangement or however they could have. But when it comes to us, we basically have to uphold what the law states. There's things that the board can modify and recommend, but if the law states that the license are to be renewed at this particular date, then we have no control over that date. After that date, then it becomes charges and fees on top of that. So I'm not quite sure if there's agencies out there that will help you with those fees, but we can't waive fees.
I didn't ask you to waive fees.
That's what I want you to be clear. Tell us as the board what you're asking.
I wasn't necessary. Okay. I've been in this business almost 40 years. I don't know nothing else to do. I don't. Okay. I went to the board. I'm not shy about anything. I went to the board. Okay. I asked them what did I need. Nobody could really give me, because you have to take a class, and they just said, well, go on the computer. I don't mean no harm to any of y'all, but the people who give out information at the, because it was on Sahara before it moved way over on Russell. And I went there because I went there so much they knew me. People know me by BJ, and they knew me over there trying to get it because I didn't want it to go that far. But after a while, I couldn't do a whole bunch. Okay, I was shut down for a year where I couldn't drive. I have that in here. I couldn't drive for a whole year. So I was trying to struggle with my health and try to struggle with trying to get some help. And I went places to get help. They said they would pay for the license, but they wouldn't pay for the late fee. And that's it.
This is Kai Stanton. So you're saying, once again, you need to seek assistance regarding the late fees and not the actual license. Or are you talking about the 30 CEU accreditations that you need for your instructor's license also to help renew as well?
Okay, when I went to help, I told them everything. In fact, they called me because I went to them several times.
Yes, I understand that part.
I went to them and I told them what I needed. They called the Board of Cosmetology. They talked to a young lady over there. And then what they came up with that they would pay for the license, but they would not pay for the late fee.
Right, so you're here today regarding late fees, correct?
Yes.
Yes. we do not have the power to alter any late fees, none whatsoever. It is rules and regulations that those have to be upheld. That's what the president is relating.
Gwen Bramo, board member. This is what I'm going to recommend as a board. If you could get the license fee paid, because cosmetology license come before instructors. So if you could get the license or the license fees paid, I'm going to recommend that you work with the board office, and they'll be willing to work with you on those late fees, maybe making payments, and maybe have some kind of agreement with them, since they do know you by name, so the fees won't keep occurring. There's something that you would possibly could work out with them. So would that be possible for you to at least pay the fees for your license, and then you can make payments, and then somehow the late fees cannot just keep continuing?
Yes.
So I think that's something
This is Kai Stanton. If I'm correct, Ms. Sisters, if you can help me, do they still continue to reoccur every month, even though there are some payments that are?
Yeah, so Ms. Harcum, I've never spoken with her, I'm afraid, so it'd be someone from the front desk. But usually when you hear us talk about a payment plan, it would be for something like a citation. And if your license doesn't expire, let's say in 2 years, and you owe me $100, we can break that down into bite-sized increments until you're about to renew. Unless Director Landry or Deputy Director Higginbotham has some information, I don't. I'm not aware of anything that would toll your late fees from accruing or be able to give a payment plan at a juncture like this, because we wouldn't ever take partial payment for a license. It would be kind of an all or nothing.
Hear from Director Landry, please.
Yes, I think that when we're looking at doing payment plans and setting something up, that would be for the license only, not the instructor, because I don't think you're going to have the payments to make the instructor payments of $680 anytime soon. I just don't see that. So it'd be for the license only. If that's what you want, we could set up a payment plan, $20 a month, $10 a month, whatever, get that set up to pay those late fees, but that's the best that we can do. And you'd have to pay your license fee, the $70, would have to be paid up front, and your first $20 payment or $10 payment would have to be paid at the same time. And then from then on, $10 or $20 a month till it's paid off would be the way we'd have to set it up.
So are you saying that I will lose my teacher's license?
Yeah, unless you can come up with $683 or it'd be
Well,
$700.
I have 5 years.
Gwen Bramo, board chair. Let me ask this question. Is there any way that you could possibly, if you can't afford the fees, is there any way that they could retest?
So I believe the rule of thumb is after the 5 years, it's a wash. You would have to totally retest from there, and I believe that fee is like $325 to retake all your tests and that sort of thing. So she's 3 years away from that 5-year mark where she would reset.
Oh, it's just 2 years.
Right, she's only 2 years.
I think it's 4 years.
Is it 4? Okay, sorry, 4 years is when she would retest.
So it's
she's
4 years
away.
now.
So how many years I have left?
You'd have 2 years left on the instructor.
Okay.
And then that's before it just goes away. Then you have 4 years, a little less than 4 years.
I'll renew my license next month. I had to choose whether to pay the light bill or renew the license, because it was so hot this summer. My bill was like $200.
I understand that. I just want to lay out what your choices are. If you want to renew your license as a cosmetologist, that would be my suggestion, to get that done. So you've locked that in. Then if you're not going to be able to pay off the $680 and growing fees on the late fees for your instructor, you could always excuse me. You could always retest as an instructor 2 years from now.
I don't have to go back to school.
Nope. No, you never lose your schooling. You would lose the testing that you took. And you'd have to retest at the end of 4 years.
Okay, all right.
That's the best that the board could do at this time. So we just wanted to put some options on the table for you.
Okay.
Okay?
Well, yeah, that's fine.
All right, so can I get a motion, please?
Debbie Ritchie, I'd like to make a motion to acquire a special arrangement through the Cosmetology Board for payments for the.
So if she.
to renew your cosmetology license so we can reinstate it for your cosmetology license.
Okay.
And a payment plan.
I'm gonna pay the payment. What's his name, Gary? I'm gonna pay the payment next month for my license. It
Okay.
says $130.
I'm sorry. Can I just say something? My understanding is that licenses that have lapsed cannot be reissued before the fees are paid. Am I correct? I think that what's being interpreted maybe on your end, and I can't speak for you, but it sounds, because she keeps saying, I'm going to pay my license next month. Those fees, ma'am, they're not going to allow you to renew that license. So even though you have the money for that license that you want to pay for next month, the fees are not something that can be done on the back end.
No, I only hold for my cosmetology license. I think she stated that I owed $130. Is that right?
Yeah. So
That's the whole thing.
just for cosmetology, not the instructors, right?
No.
Okay, and that's, sorry, I misunderstood. So I thought she was saying she was going to come pay the instructors. Okay, sorry. I just wanted to make sure you didn't get there and then say, I thought they said.
Let's get one last clarification from Executive Director Landry.
Yes, if you come and pay, like you said, you're going to come next month and pay all the fees and pay for your license, get that all done, then you now own your cosmetology license outright. If you pay all the fees and pay your license, that'll all be taken care of.
Yes, for the cosmetology license.
Right. And the instructor license, if you wait 2 years, you can retest at that time and retest as an instructor.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. So we didn't have to make a vote on that?
We already had a motion. We just need a second.
Can I get a second on the motion?
Taylor Trump McCormick, I second that.
All in favor?
Thank you.
I just want to be clear, everybody's on this. She's getting her cost.
She's going to pay her fees.
She's going to pay everything.
No, my cosmetology license, I'm going to pay for. It's $130, she said so. Okay. And I work
with the
on
fees,
the instructors.
it's
He told
total
me
of
what to do about
130 with the
instructor's
fees.
license.
Okay, myself and our CFO were trying to figure out, we've never had a payment plan on a lapsed license, so we were just trying to make sure, so we were just as confused. So that makes sense. She's paying $130 upfront, gets cosmetology, and the instructor license sits. Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you. By the 7th, can you come out, Miss Barbara, by the 7th of next month?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Amani Moore? It's number 27. Hi, Amani, can you state your name and be sworn in, please?
Imani Moore. Solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, nothing but the truth. Yes.
Okay, you're ready to speak to the board?
Yeah, so I just wanted to get a clarification based off of what you guys told her, because that's kind of the same reason why I came here, was for my license, to see if I can get the fees reduced or waived.
So, how late was she on renewing her license?
Sure, it looks like it expired on December 14th of 2017. That's a cosmetology license, which leaves a balance of $490, which will go up again by $20 on the 14th.
So were you working?
At the time,
That's yes or no?
I know I wasn't working.
No?
I was in an abusive relationship, and I left in December 2017, and we did have a child involved. And at that time, it was a little bit too late. When I left, I ended up getting a charge myself from fighting back.
Yeah.
So all of 2018, my child was taken away from me because of the situation. I had classes that I had to pay for. I had to try to find, a home to provide for my child, to show I was stable to keep my child. And all of my money went to that.
Yeah, but that, so, and I, I understand that, coming in front of us with the last case that we just had and what we agreed to, We're not here to just grant leniencies on everything, but, you know, just so you're aware, the fees are the fees, the fines are the fines. We can't adjust, take away, minus, add, cut, paste. You need to pay your fees. The reason why the last woman, because every case is different,
Right.
we made allowance just because, as you can see, she had all her medical records with her. She was prepared. She had her medical records with her. She could barely walk up here. So, you know, we didn't really give much, but we're sure not going to give you. It's just, I don't understand why you think you can come up here and ask us. Your license, I understand life is tough, hard. I get that part. But that's a long time for your license to be without having a license. You want to go back to work. You know, I don't know, maybe as a board, you know, because we just, you know, granted the last person, so here we go.
We didn't
So-
grant the last person anything.
Well,
though.
we gave her, what we did is we gave her a time for her fees to be paid, which we can also grant her.
No, not
Brian
so
Paul,
much.
sorry.
I think that was a little bit confusing because the last lady was slightly different because she had 2 licenses. So one of them.
I just want to be fair with her.
Yeah. So the last person wasn't granted, for purposes of the record, any type of leniency or variance or anything. She's agreed to pay one of the licenses in full. And the
she's
other is
agreed to
setting.
pay everything, but
Yeah.
what about her late fees?
She's paying them in full as well. That 130 accounts for all her late fees.
Okay, because
Yeah.
she came in front of us saying that she was trying to get a payment plan for her late fees. That's what I heard.
Yes, and then that kind of got washed out because that doesn't really exist
So-
in the way. So
okay.
she's paying full up front like anybody
Okay.
else would.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there you have it.
Gwen Bramo, board member, I can make a recommendation to you. This is just me brainstorming out loud for your money. There's a lot of agencies that will pay for your testing fees. So it would be cheaper and they would pay it. They won't pay for license fees and expired license, but they would pay for you to test again.
Okay.
And if you could take the practical and the written, oh, okay, you probably wouldn't want to do that because it have to be like 2 years after, right? If you instead of paying the fees, you have to wait till the license lapse. I was just brainstorming, trying to figure out how you can get some fees paid because I know those agencies out there will pay for license fees, but I don't have anything.
Taylor McCormick, I do apologize to you because I think that it may appear like something was done, but I hope that you do understand there are no exceptions.
Okay.
It's not you. It's not the person before you. It's not what you were. It's just no exceptions. On the other end, we know that you got to get back to work. So within the law, if there's something we can do, we want to do that for you. This we can't because the law is that you have to get those fees paid. So if there's anything else, though, that we
But
can
there's
help
no
you
way to do an arrangement or anything like that because when I spoke to the state board, I called the agency to see if I can get help with my fees and stuff like that. And they recommended me to come to you guys to see if I can do an arrangement. And that's the reason why I'm here because that's what they're saying.
No,
and they're communicating
it makes
with
sense.
us.
I mean, I understand that they would say one agency would tell you to look into the resources of another
Mhm.
prior to, you going down a rabbit trail of exhausting things. They'd say, hey, go to that agency and see what they can do. So you're here, and that's what you're doing. And so this is what we can and can't do. So you do have to get those fees, be ready to pay those fees at the time that you're ready to reactivate that license because that's the only way to reactivate an expired license.
Debbie Ritchie, did the board tell you to come down here and get in front of us?
Mm-hmm. Yes. I called them myself and I told them my situation and told them how, I had just got my child back and all of my money went to all of those classes in my probation.
Maybe that's something
And they told me
to look at,
they
you
told me
guys,
that you
just
guys could
so
do
it saves everybody time.
arrangements.
That would be
Go
great.
ahead.
Maggie Adams, compliance
Maggie?
coordinator. Everyone has a right, according to our understanding, to petition the board. It is in the law. Whether we can grant what they're petitioning legally
But
is a whole
legally,
other story.
but legally we cannot, correct? We cannot.
That's the challenge. They have a right to petition
Wow,
and ask anything, but if it's not something you can grant,
wow.
And we often explain that fees have never been waived. Citations have, but that's the case.
Okay.
Imani, is your email correct with us?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'll send over some resources for you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Can I get a vote to deny the petition for Amani Moore?
This is Kai Stanton. I'd like to make a petition to deny. I would like to make a motion to deny the petition.
Can I get a second?
Debbie Ritchie, I second that motion.
All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Is it Susan Murphy? Can you state your name and be sworn in, please? Hi, Susan. Can you want to speak to the board?
Yes.
Right ahead. Just, it's on.
Yes, I've been a licensed cosmetologist for over 36 years in a couple different states. And I've been in Nevada for 16 years. I believe I've been licensed here for 15. And I renewed my license online for the first time it was offered. I have never been late with a license in my entire 36 years. So I renewed online, and I received this confirmation saying I renewed, and I did it for the 4 years. And I also received this in my email of the confirmation. I do not work in a salon. I keep my license current just because I earned it, and I never know if I'm ever going to go back. A friend of mine happened to go in to renew her license to the new place because they were moving, and when I thought, you know, I never did receive anything in the mail or anything, maybe I better check on it. So I took my confirmation, said I did this online, but I never received anything, you know, and they didn't have record of it. So with the help of, I have her name here, Bertha Jackson, we did a little forensic stuff, went way back, and what she came up with was that in something happened in downloading my picture on the website when I put in my application, and it was denied. And I never received any kind of email, letter, phone, nothing. So I didn't know that it did not go through until I went in. So I'm like, if I would have known, I would have complied immediately. But, you know, I just thought the confirmation was the confirmation, and that's, I guess, my own ignorance. So I went through, she went through, through the board. They went through all the records, and it took a long time trying to figure out what exactly happened. And she said something happened with the program, your picture did not download, and they kicked it out. So with that, they also kicked it out of, it was pending, you know, on my credit card. Well, they kicked it out of that, so I did not actually pay the $140, and I knew it was pending in my credit card when I did this online, but then I did not go back in and check. If I knew, I would have gone down there that day. But I guess I would like to renew my license, but I just feel that, I was wondering if you could do something with the late fees, because I was not aware that it didn't go through. And also my phone number, my address, and my email has not changed in 16 years. So I'm not sure what happened there.
Debbie Ritchie, so do you have confirmation of that email? Because confirmation to me is confirmation.
That's.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, but
One here is the confirmation from the web. Oh, this is the one that was in my email.
Mhm.
This one was from when I renewed. So they're both. They have the dates, the time, and that's what was so confusing, because I'm like, I thought.
So how long has lapsed that you realize that you don't have? I mean, you just thought that you had it.
I thought I had it because I had a confirmation.
And your email hasn't changed. Your phone number hasn't. Nothing's changed.
Address, nothing. And the only reason why I went in is a friend of mine and I, our birthdays are a month apart. We always, remember to take your the safety and sanitation. We always do that and go in together and do our renewal together. So she's like, I'm going in on, whatever day. Do you need to go in? And I'm like, no, I did the 4-year. And she goes, and I said, but I never did get anything. And I don't work in a shop, so I don't really, need to have my license, up and all that. So I didn't even think about it.
Well,
until.
Yeah, well, we had some time ago, we had issues with the board sending out fees to business owners that were not notified of that they weren't going to be sending out their via bill anymore. So they were given nothing. So I just think that maybe as a board we should consider, she has a confirmation, and I think right is right and wrong is wrong, even though we can argue all day long, why didn't she go down, why didn't she look in her Visa, MasterCard? We all get busy. Sometimes I don't even check mine. So I just think that as a board, I mean, where do we draw the line of what is right and what is wrong? Because getting back to even with the hairdressers, when you have something that we're all used to for 50 some years, we're used to getting a license in the mail that says it's time to pay.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden we get nothing and our life goes on, and then we get fines. That's just not right. And I think this woman has a confirmation, and I think we should, as a board, look at that and try to uphold what's right and what's wrong.
Yeah, I also emailed Gary Landry about the situation, and he's the one that, it's taken me this long to, I was here at the other hearing that got canceled, and I've been trying to get on the list to, state my claim, because.
Yeah, like we're not here to salary anybody or say.
I understand that.
For confirmation?
Yeah.
Actually, can I say one thing too?
Yeah.
I want to take a look at the application that she completed online, because I think before we go any further, we probably should give Adam the chance.
Did you have, because you said you talked to our Gary, you said you talked to Gary, right?
I emailed Gary.
And Gary emailed you back?
Yes, he did.
What did he say?
He said to petition to come,
Okay, and Adam, can you say whatever you have to say about?
Yeah, so to go back, whenever any of you all, minus Brian, sorry, wants to renew a license, you all have to go through, if you order it online, you have to go through a series of criteria that's going to help us renew your license.
Yeah.
One of that is we need contact information so we can make sure we can send an email or a phone number to you. On the applicant's application file, you can see on the highlighted areas that is missing unless her email's joe@email.com and XXX is not her phone number. Then we transition over to the other parts of the slide that, again, this is actually from the software that we review on our end. And as we can see that the cell phone and email file is not present.
But
And then as we transition even further, the part that ultimately supersedes that confirmation that the data pack has been sent and that there was a transaction that was initially accepted, it doesn't help with the fact that the photo didn't meet the minimum qualifications for us to issue the license. So we didn't have their contact information on
Okay.
the file. So it goes back to, we cannot communicate to someone that doesn't provide us with the information in which we're requesting. And the document got rejected because the photo didn't meet the requirements of the state law.
Yeah. Did you want to say something?
Yeah, I've always received my license renewal in the mail, which has never changed. And I'm not sure why. Yeah, and also I got the email.
We do because we've talked to her in the meantime. We've uploaded her information. We have, after there's been a dialogue between the petitioner and the board office, that's where the contact information was received.
So it was there all the time? Okay, thank you.
No, I mean, I don't want to say it was there all the time. It's there now.
But I mean, if I'm working at the board and I have licensees, I'm just trying to figure out for myself, for future reference. And somebody is going to apply for a renewal of a license for 4 years, right? And I've held a cosmetology license in the past. That's why I'm renewing, correct? So wouldn't I have that passed on file with my information?
You should.
Taylor McCormick, I think what we're getting, and I think everything that everyone is saying is important. She, and I get what you're saying. I get the confirmation coming in. I understand it. However, I do also understand I order stuff on Amazon and then it doesn't like really necessarily come, or stuff can still come, and that's why we check our emails. I do want to say though that having used the system and the software to renew my own license, if you don't put the information in, when this is a part of moving on with technology, and I think we can't be both. If you're going to have these filters to make us more efficient and to make sure that we're able to streamline this process and get these licenses out to all of these licensees, they have to be able to comply with the tools that we give them. I'm not saying I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying if it didn't meet the qualifications and it ran through this system, then
But why
is
would
that
they give a
something that-
confirmation number?
Because it's a computer.
You accepted it. So if you accept
We accepted
something,
the payment for it. We didn't say, hey, it has passed, it has been approved. There are things that you pay for all the time online and you still have to wait back
so
to hear
wouldn't you have
that it's approved.
expected your license to come in the mail?
This was the first time. It was never like sent in, mailed in, and mailed back. It was the first time offered online, so I really didn't know what to expect. And I can't imagine me doing, I don't know why my information was not on there on this application, because I can't imagine filling it out and not putting it on there. But moving forward with that, you know, I've been licensed, like I said, for 36 some odd years. I've never been late.
Okay,
I don't feel.
we get it. So
This is Kai Stanton. I'm sorry. This paperwork is from 2017.
Oh.
Have you all paid attention to this?
That's
This is from
when I applied, because I did it for a 4-year, and then when, yeah.
Okay.
So what I would like to do is make a motion.
Actually, before we do, I just want to ask, are we able to reduce or waive late fees even if it's due to technical issues? No, I don't think so. So there's really nothing that we can do. I mean, I feel for you. I feel that there's a technical issue. I've had orders that have not gone through for myself, but we are confined by what we can do, regardless if it's a technical issue.
That, our world is evolving, technology's changed. I get it. I'm just stating my case now because what was 2 years ago isn't what is today. You know what I mean? It's just not. But, but like, again, we hear you loud and clear. Believe me, I'm siding with you. But at this point, we can't do anything. The law is the law.
Gwen Bramo, board member. I do understand, and I understand what's law is law. But I think what I'm having a difficulty with is because it's kind of two-sided. Where you, in 2017, you didn't immediately contact the board after a couple months and say, I didn't receive my license?
I did not, because I don't work in a salon, so it didn't, life, it's my fault. I'm taking the blame for that. It just wasn't something in my head. Oh, I didn't get that back until my friend went to renew hers.
Because I don't believe you would have waited that long. I think the puzzle part about it is it was so long ago that you didn't receive your license and you weren't notified. But were you notified that your license had expired?
I got the paper copy, yes, in the mail. And when it gave the option of doing it online, it was never ever an option before. I'm like, oh, I'll do it online. And that's when I filled everything out and sent it in, got the confirmation, also got the confirmation sent to my email. And so.
What is your email?
It's murf1@cox.net, but another Gmail account is linked to it, so both of them go into the same one.
Taylor McCormick, I do have a question for you. So at the time that you renewed, you were already late.
No, I was not.
No, you weren't. So the time you renewed, you weren't late.
No, I was not.
Okay, so then when you got wind that it didn't go through, how many months had passed?
Well, here's the thing. I'm licensed in the state of California, and I actually got to pay attention to that because I thought that my license had lapsed. I couldn't even remember how long ago it was. So I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I had to go back and look at all that.
But the point is that when you did all this, you were in compliant. That's what we're.
Yes, I was. Yeah, I was not late.
And you had confirmation.
It was due, and my apologies and my fault. I assumed that the confirmation was a confirmation.
Yeah, but there's nothing we could do as a board.
I'm afraid of setting precedents with this. Tila McCormick, I'm afraid of setting precedents with this because, again, we are shifting the responsibility, and this isn't personal. But if everyone that takes a confirmation for a license renewal and we set a precedence today saying, oh, well, that's okay, we are setting a precedent saying if you don't follow through on your stuff and you happen to miss something, we're going to try to.
Yeah, she did.
I get it, but she didn't get her license. So, but it's a computer system. It's not.
This is
something
Kai
we can do.
Stanton. The bottom line is we cannot adjust any late fees, none whatsoever. It's not setting precedents. It's not a bullying tactic. It's none of that. As the board, we cannot adjust.
I just do want to point out one thing, just so procedurally, and again, I don't do individuals, I do the salon licenses, but of course if we have a glitch and I end up charging you, $3,000 for your salon license, you're going to get your money back. We do issue refunds. Sometimes people will fill out something incorrectly and we change it for them. We try to be really reasonable. I think the reason that this is before you now is because there's a breakdown clearly on both sides, right? Maybe our confirmation was a little screwy, but we also refunded your payment immediately thereafter and did our diligence in trying to reach out to you. And because we lacked any type of active contact information is why you didn't hear sooner, because certainly you would have heard the day your payment was refunded, which would have been quite some time ago. So I just want to make sure that if you mistakenly pay us anybody, we do give you your money back. It just, in this instance, it just seems like because of breakdowns in our ability to reach out, it kind of went on for too long, which unfortunately leaves you with a bigger deficit than I'm sure you want to be in.
So, Ms. Esters, is the staff taking full accountability that there was a misunderstanding somewhere?
This is one thing. This is Maggie Adams. Is one thing I want to say. The confirmation is that we received your payment and your application. It's not that it's correct. When we get an application for a salon, they may not have a correct floor plan. Just as this, we reimburse the money, we notify them via email that this is incorrect and you need to fix it.
Maybe moving forward, Maggie, we should maybe have something, this is not a confirmation that you are going to be licensed.
It's a confirmation of payment.
Well, it doesn't say, it just says billing information, order confirmation.
Right.
So we can interpret that in a lot of different ways. I just think so it'll save us a lot of time moving forward. Maybe if we could just put a little something on there that clearly says this is not confirmation of a license, I think it would save.
So, Ms. Adams, I just want to be clear, was there a discrepancy in the payment? Is that what I'm hearing, that there was a discrepancy?
The challenge is that there was an application submitted. It had an incorrect photo, a photo that could not be accepted.
Yeah.
So it was rejected and refunded. There was no email on file. There was no phone number on file. So there was no way to reach out and contact her.
So money was refunded. Money was refunded. Things were given back. So the late fees need to stand accordingly.
Oh yeah, well there's nothing we can do. We know that.
Okay.
But I'm trying to do. I like to look in the future and see if we can fix anything ahead of the road before we have another crash. So when I'm reading this, and you know, I don't consider myself a really smart cookie. I'm not the brightest crayon in the box. So when I'm reading this, I say Nevada State Board of Cosmetology, Debbie Ritchie, order confirmation yesterday, receipt. I'm done. That's what I see. And I'm just saying, you guys, and we're dealing with cosmetologists, and you know.
So Andrew Helms, Chief Financial Officer, for the record. A couple of things. First of all, that receipt has changed since then. It's a lot more clear now what it's for.
That's all I wanted. Okay,
we changed merchant processors. The second thing is that the receipt of that confirmation of payment, like Maggie was saying, we can still refund those payments. Really, the confirmation would be the license in the mail that you receive. That would be the confirmation that everything's good.
Perfect. That's good. That's all. I just want to, and you've helped us to help people in the future. So maybe that's the reason why you're here today, and that's a good thing.
I guess my question is, listening to everybody else in front of the board, they were given notice via whatever that it was rejected. So I guess my plea is I didn't get any notification, so I was in the dark on that it didn't go through. And I'm not understanding why you didn't have my contact information when I've been licensed for all these years to send me a letter or something. Nothing has changed.
But we can argue all day long. It's just, it is what it is. I think we just need to move on and know that we've helped for the future.
Okay. Thank you.
So I would like to have a vote, a motion, please.
This is Kai Stanton. I would like to uphold the citation for Miss Susan in number 20. I'm sorry. Oh, no citation. I apologize. I would like to dismiss.
You can either deny the petition or uphold the late fees. It's the same.
Okay. I would like to make a motion to uphold the late fees. Am I saying that correctly? And deny the petition. Thank you.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Ma'am, did you want your confirmation? Okay, you're welcome.
Did you want us to break for maybe 15 minutes and then we can finish up? You want to go ahead and finish up? Okay. To the executive director's report. Brian's prepared for this? You are? Yeah. Talk to me about
Could we maybe consider maybe like a 5-minute break, give her time to update, and then?
Thank you. Where's the court reporter? Oh. We ready, all board members? We're going to go to agenda item number number H for vice president election for possible discussion, but I think I made the decision that we're going to wait to the next election. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Executive Director's Report.
One thing though, just because we put the agenda together, am I supposed to put this back on here, or we're good? We're keeping everybody how we're keeping them?
We're good.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Executive Director's Report. Director Landry.
Yes, just want to say the Executive Director's Report is in the packet. I'm willing to answer any questions. The good thing is that from operations, we had a 97, 98, and 99% approval rating in our happy and not happy. So that was good. And we have a lot of other things we've done in all the other departments, but I'll answer any questions. And if not, we can move on.
Any board members have any questions? Everybody reviewed the report?
Is this the time where we can bring up things for the next agenda?
Nope.
Not yet. Since there's no questions on the report, everybody read the report, right? It was the same report the last board meeting. Okay, so can I get a motion to approve Executive Director Landry's report?
This is Kai Stanton. I would like to make a motion to approve the Executive Director's report.
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The monthly financial report, agenda item J. Andrew, You have the floor.
Sure. So in your packet, you'll see the financials for April, March, and May. If you have any questions, please let me know. I did want you to know that the board's management of the current liquid assets, it remains healthy. It is the best indicator of long-term performance and agency sustainment. You'll notice that there are some fluctuations in the cash balance. However, the money reserves, they recover within a timely period to meet the expectations of the board's reserve policy. So at this time, I can answer any questions that anybody has.
Any questions for Andrew on the financial report? No questions? Can I get a motion to approve Andrew's financial report for the Board of Cosmetology?
Taylor Trammell McCormick, I'd like to make a motion to approve Andrew's report for, yes, that's what I mean.
Can I get a second?
This is Kai Stanton. I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. This is the time. Rodney, is there anybody up there for public comment? You have a public comment, Rodney?
There's no one here for public comment.
Okay, no one here for public comment either. Okay, so we're just going to wrap it up. The public comment is going to be for the 3 minutes for any board member that would like to make a public comment. We're going to do any items on the next agenda is going to be talked about during the public comment. So this is the time.
Sorry, that shouldn't be a practice because public comments is for the public. So if the board members, I know that, I think Debbie, you wanted to add some other stuff to the agenda. You can just do it right before you adjourn.
Well, I do have a
just so-
comment and then something for the agenda.
Okay.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
But just don't make it a practice of board members doing.
No.
Okay, that's only because I wanted to lump them in one. I couldn't do that. Okay, that's fine.
It has been brought to my attention several years ago, and I didn't really say anything, but I did address it with Gary on an issue with having a licensed cosmetology offering and selling alcohol in the establishment. These are happening consistently across the United States with the Blow Dry Bar. There's one here at the Fashion Show Mall, and there's another one on, I don't remember what street it's on, but I just feel that there's no walls that's partitioning them. I don't have time to go around and try to prove points and this and that, but it's just wrong. They continue to do it. I don't know how that's, I can't even get my head around it. But yet we're clear to fine on people that are drinking in an establishment or having anything. And this is alcohol that's being sold as well. So you have a place of a business of a cosmetology license being held. You also have an alcohol license that is clearly next to the wall, about 5 feet away. There's no walls. It's open space. I just want to make that clear and open to the public.
Any other comments?
This is Kai Stanton. I have a comment regarding those that are working outside of their homes. If a patron comes to the staff and they have a proof that they received a service inside of a home and also proof on a website that they were working or authorizing or promoting, I should say promoting, services without a license inside of a home, that we are not going inside of their home, but we can still find them according to the advertisement that they are saying, I am offering services inside of a home, as well as the patron has received services. So those two together should be considered as enough findings to find that person.
We do send cease and desist letters to anyone that is found to be doing that. We don't enter the homes. We don't have police powers and all, but we don't enter the homes unless we have the police with us. And I don't think we don't issue fines on that at this point, do we?
Yeah, so Maggie Adams would probably know best, but we have other resources apart from knocking on your door and coming in. So if we have enough, we know who you are, we have the information to levy a citation, we usually go that route. We'll reach out to the Office of the Secretary of State, because normally if you're working from home, you probably haven't gone through them. Clark County, City of Las Vegas, Henderson, they've all been very helpful. So we'll reach out to kind of a lot of other agencies that have different powers that kind of, overlap and extend beyond ours, and kind of work in synergy with them to kind of flush out those people who are working from home, which unfortunately is becoming a bigger and bigger problem.
Thank you so much. I find that being a huge issue in Reno, Nevada, and I wasn't sure about. Oh, okay.
I actually.
Sorry, real quick. This is turning into a discussion now.
Oh,
so
sorry.
if you wanted to,
And
did you
my
want to
last
put it
statement.
on for a future agenda item? Or?
Yes, that should be on an agenda item. And my last agenda item I would like to have
Just
for.
doing comments, I gotta close the comments,
last
right?
comment. I would like for the board to have some training with, I believe, the AG regarding process, not just rules and regulations, but motions that can and cannot be carried, things of that nature, just proper policies on certain things that they would like to move forward with.
That closes the public comment. So now, so there's no action can be taken on that. So now we're down to comments from the board for the next agenda item.
I was like, yeah, that was my agenda item. I apologize. I would like that, put that for an agenda item. Yes, I apologize. I was out of place. Yes.
Brian Baltazar, is there a possibility that we can disseminate the information to the general public that we cannot waive late fees? Because I feel like a grand majority of these cases are people that obviously have the right to come petition the board, even though we should automatically know that we can't do anything about it. Is there some way that we can include that with information that they receive about their late fees, or just something to prevent us from being bogged down by these cases, in all honesty?
We tell every member who wants to petition the board that they want to have their late fees reduced, that the board cannot reduce their late fees. They say, I'm going to go to the board anyway.
Can we change that law instead then?
I can add some disclaimer to the petition, and possibly we can explore if there's a placeholder on the agenda where we can include it as well.
I've been on the board now for how long, Gary? 3 years? 4 years?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? So 4 years, I got on the board originally to try to get lobby and get something passed that eventually did, which is great. But I keep, because I'm so much entwined in business here with, I don't know, over 500 self-employed contractors that rent space in my hair salons, which seeing business grow and seeing millennium people, how they function, how they work, the world is changing. My business is changing. We're not just a hair salon anymore. And that's going to be getting more and more to everyone's attention. This is what's occurring. It's not a mom and pop salon anymore. I've been talking about having a board consist of the massage board, the barber board, and the cosmetology board, which would save the state a lot of money. I've did my math. I've also witnessed so many items that are on our agenda that if we were one board, it would save time, it would save money, and it would save a lot of things that a person trying to run a business has to deal with on a monthly basis. I've been asking and trying to do what I can for this, but it just seems like I'm always told, you know, we're in the wild, wild west, not going to do anything with the barbers. And I still want to pursue with any and all help I can to try to get this to come to life, because it's time. And I know Brian once has tried to reach out to me and try to get something lobbied, and it just always gets the ball dropped. So I just would really like to bring that back to the agenda, because it always falls off and no one talks about it, and we just keep doing the same thing. So, thank you.
Any other board member have any other ideas that they would like to see, or anything that would like to see on the next agenda?
I don't know if I want to say this on Taylor Trail McCormick. I want to understand what happened with the continuing education stuff. I'm still a little lost on where that landed, so maybe in the next meeting I can get, or maybe someone can just email me. I don't care. Just want to get some information on that, so wherever that's placed.
Also, do you remember about 5 months ago we had the people with the medical spa? Whatever happened to that? Because I was never reached out to go to any agenda, and I was just, and I feel like I'm a board member, and I was just kind of, what happened
So
with
if
that?
someone wants to reach out to Debbie and let her know what happened with that, that'll be great.
Well, I don't
will.
think Gwen even knows.
No, we just to give an update, we just received information on that very late this week. We can't bring it up at this board meeting because it wasn't agendized. It will be on the next board meeting in October.
When we were rallying for that, and when we would, they had to get up in front of legislature, correct? What happened? How does
Can
that
we
function?
Because this is turning into now report on.
Yeah, but still, it's pretty important, because as a board member.
It's not an agenda. It's not an agenda item. That's why we can't discuss it at the meeting.
Oh,
It
okay.
can't be discussed at the meeting.
Okay.
So we'll just get updated information from Executive Director Landry. I think that we talked about, I just heard what Talia Trail wanted to put back on the agenda for continuing education, because I think that it didn't. And I think it's a concern of us all.
I'm sorry, I'll clear up why, because the reason that pushed us into continuing education is all the stuff that we keep seeing. 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, gone from the scene, boom, I want to be in it. You know, we have nothing. So if that didn't go through, and it was a well thought out approach, and this is why we're all serving, to figure out what's the best approach here for our licensees to keep them fresh and keep them current, and that didn't go through, it doesn't mean that the conversation can just go away, because we got a bunch of people not only coming into the state wanting licenses, but people who are lapsing and not doing it. So I would like that to reappear. We do need a solution. So.
Could we possibly put it on the agenda for the Law Review Committee?
It's on the agenda for the next board meeting.
Okay. That's it. I think our meeting has adjourned. It's all done.